What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We're getting everything cooking. A little bit of rain. We're anticipating some pretty bad weather. Amy, Olivia, and I are getting a tropical storm that is, what they're saying is fairly similar to Hurricane Harvey in the sense of what it will do in a smaller scale. They don't expect it to sit over us for 5 days, but it's moving at 3-4 miles an hour, which is not good for a hurricane. That means the winds are slow and barometric pressure are high, but the overall rainfall amount is incredibly high. They're saying 3 to 4 inches. And in Virginia, when you're in a swamp, essentially, we're at altitude here, so we're going to be okay, but we still are in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we have essentially what is considered sea level. We don't have to deal with any swell or groundwater coming up, but we all have sump pumps in our house. So everybody's, because of flooding. So if you lose power, your basement could be full of water. So little things like that. We're going to be focusing on it, but we can't wait to talk to you tonight. We'll have a good show. Shirt of the show is Leroy Jenkins. Why? Because Amy's on. I completely spaced it out which day it was, but it doesn't matter. It's a great shirt. Take a look. We'll be back in
Go live on Wimpkin.
3 minutes. Going live on Wimpkin. You should have interrupted me. Sorry. When we made the Documents of Freedom collection, we had no idea how popular it would be, selling almost 150 units. We had to come up with something else, and we thought the Republic for which it stands would be a great testament to the first. We went back to pfcflag.com and Jason and team because they did such a great job with the box the first time. They surpassed their original creation. We started with the Book of Virtue from Benjamin Franklin, one of his great literary works, and then followed it up with the American flag. It's all about etiquette and pride, how to take care of the flag and the one you own. The Emancipation Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln also. These books are encased in leather bound, they are hardback, and they are beautiful. They're available right now for $74.99, and this is a limited run. They will ship September 1st. We can't wait for you to get yours.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or thedumshow.com.
Step into a Wimpkin.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show, everybody. Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. In the middle tonight, getting the best of both ends is Olivia. Somebody, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Can you turn up my headphones, please?
What? I can't hear you.
I can barely hear anything.
What if I do that? Is that better?
No.
How about that?
Testing.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna fix it for you. Hold on. Just test. How about now?
Nope.
Okay, hold on. How about now? Test.
Yes, much better.
Is that better? Clean?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Much better.
In the middle is
Olivia. Hi, everyone. How is everyone today in this wonderful Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Wednesday for sure.
Yes.
All the way at the end.
Hi, guys. I'm Amy. Nice to be here, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Ready for the, we need the rain. Did you guys get like that derecho or whatever it was last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
we're getting a little. We're getting a little bit tonight, and supposed to be getting some all day tomorrow, and it's good.
Friday,
we need it. It's been 2 wet summers, or dry summers in a row, and it's weird.
Yeah, I'm looking, and the center of the storm keeps drifting west of us, and if that hits the west of us, that means we're getting the eastern bands, which is
not good. And then you're going to get the cold pressure, which is probably going to move it anyway. So it may be doing that now, but it doesn't mean it's going to continue, because once it hits the cold pressure wall of Canada, that's not even good. That means it's going to go sideways on us versus going north and south, which is worse.
Well, that's what they're saying, is that it's going to hit that cold front and get worse. It's going to combine.
Matt, we
with the
don't
cold
see
front.
Amy and only 3/4 of Olivia. I don't understand what that means.
Weird.
What do you mean?
Angel, try flipping your phone, or try.
No, you're going to have
out.
to explain that to me. Go on Facebook and find out where. I don't understand what that means.
Other people are saying can't see.
I know, but I don't know what it means. I like, they've got to describe what that means. I don't know what that means. I can only see 3/4 of Olivia.
Maybe they can't see everyone on the screen, but picture is off.
I don't understand what that means.
Screen is all messed up. I don't know. Zoom out. It says it looks like you're totally zoomed in.
I can't. I don't control that.
Let me see. Let me get on Facebook and see.
Just hold on. Yeah, you got to show and just bring it to me and show me.
Okay.
What about there? Can everyone see that? Can anyone see this? You're on YouTube. That's why, Amy. It's Facebook people having a problem, and that means it's a Facebook issue.
Yeah, I
See,
see
on
it.
my
Okay,
Facebook, I just have live.
I can't see that. Okay. Okay, hold on. I don't know why that would be doing that. Try now. Because what I'm seeing, what I'm broadcasting is completely different. Ronnie says he can see it.
YouTube is fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about YouTube. It's Facebook. I can see that. I can see that, but I don't know why. I see the thing, but I need to know if it's fixed now. Preferences.
Refresh.
Sorry, guys. I'm working on it. My broadcast is
Still.
okay. Just all right. Hold on. I'm broadcasting in 6. Everyone says I look normal on Facebook. I really don't want to reconnect this. Some people say it's absolutely fine. Folks, when we say absolutely fine, it means all 3 of us are in the picture. It's a 16:9. It looks like a TV screen. If it looks like a square, it's not right.
It looks like a square.
I know it does. That's what I'm saying. People who are saying that it looks good, you got to give consistent information here. Stream shape 16:9. I'm broadcasting in 16:9. High quality video mode. I'm looking. Show picture in picture. Show vertical safe zone. That's the only thing. Vertical safe mode adds shaded areas to indicate the zone. Okay. So I put that on, and then I'm turning that off. Let me know if this sucks. I knew we shouldn't have come on tonight. I just had a feeling.
The weather.
If you head over to wimkin.com, this doesn't happen on there.
Yeah, right. Facebook. But let's try to solve the problem. So Tommy gave me a screenshot. Yeah, I see it. This is a Facebook issue. This isn't a don't unfriend me issue. You guys, this is a great time for you to go to Wimkin and embrace Wimkin as your social media. It doesn't have to be perfect, but to watch the show, you can go to Rumble, you can go to Wimkin, you go to YouTube, you can go to Twitter. Facebook has had nothing but problems lately. So this is what's going on. So my recommendation is let's head on over to Wimkin and get those numbers up. I'm going to put a note on the screen. You guys talk.
Okay.
Yeah. Wimkin's perfect.
Facebook is broken. Go to.
Apparently it's okay because I'm the center of attention and people like to look at me, so I'm good.
Yeah, great.
Exactly.
Then donate.
And then we'll get more money.
Donate.
Yeah, then donate. Prove it.
We get more money tonight that we know Liv is the key.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. I don't know. We did fine last night. I got grumpy at one point. I'm like, I'm leaving. This is it. I'm out of here. Here, we'll add this to the screen. And then this. Everyone should be able to see this. Can you see that, Liv?
Yeah, I can.
Check Facebook.
Facebook is broken. Go to Wimkin. Let me check my...
And then we should be good. Let me know if that looks okay. So welcome.
Yes, that looks fine.
All right. Welcome to the don't. Here, I'm going to make it a different color so it really pops because I don't want people. I don't want to hear this all night. You know. Oh, it's wrong. That Facebook isn't working. Now I love it because our people are awesome and they care, and that's important. There we go. Facebook is broken. All right. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Sorry, Facebook people. It's fine on all other channels, so this isn't a Don't Unfriend Me problem. This is this is definitely a Facebook problem. A lot of interesting things. Listen, okay. Can we talk about expectations and managing fear?
Yeah,
I think it's a very important conversation to have, and we'll disclose some things. Tonight might be a little bit different, but we're going to talk about anxiety. We're going to talk about trepidation and a lack of self-confidence and self-esteem in yourself and what you can do about it. And I will tell you that there's something, Angel, I don't know. I'm not tech support for your phone. I just swipe up and close out of your Facebook app and then it won't be playing. just turn your phone off and reboot it. I don't know, kiddo. Hi, this is Matt. I'm your local Susie Time Life operator. I can't tech support your phone. I love you. I'll do you what Olivia and I did for AOL for years. Just reboot your computer and delete ttimer.exe. That was our training, right, Liv? Yes. Delete ttimer.exe and restart your computer. And every single time it fixed AOL.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So let's do. Right now, everybody is scared, right? Everybody's nervous. And it's not so much about the economy and it's not so much about World War because, let's face it, really none of us alive know what that feels like. Now, might be a couple of viewers who were alive during WW2, but let's be honest, that they're probably eating oatmeal and watching Matlock. And
honestly, they're probably in bed by now.
Or they're in bed, right? Or they're at a dance recital with Joe Biden. They're doing things that they don't care what I have to say. They've seen it all. They've done it all. And my advice is nothing to people who've went through World War II. I can't imagine they are watching our show. But if they are, the respect for their service is ridiculous. Or even the time that they lived in is respected. But I hope they're playing shuffleboard or watching Matlock or eating oatmeal or whatever else it would be. Do that and retire and have a great life and don't listen to the show. Unless you want to. What's that?
I was going to say really quickly, not to totally cut you off, sorry, but my dad is friends with a World War II veteran, and he is in his 90s, and he plays pool with my father, and he actually won like the national, like their community like pool tournament. I think it was last year. I don't think he won this year, but he won last year, and my dad helped him get on the honor flight, so he was actually just here in DC
that's
not
so
too long
cool.
ago. Yeah. But my dad's like, he doesn't
Our-
use a wheelchair. He's like, he can run laps around people. He's in his like mid 90s, I believe. But he's like, he's so with it, and like he's just a cool guy. And we're gonna see him actually pretty soon. So I'm hoping that him and Zach can, because Zach's like obsessed with World War II and like history. So I'm hoping they can get to have some cool conversations. So yeah.
Well,
So
that's
they're not
awesome.
all eating, pudding, and
No,
watching that.
I'm not. Listen,
I
I'm
know.
just. I'm saying they should be. They should be doing nothing but just enjoying retirement. And that's the. It's not to say that all old people watch Matlock and eat oatmeal. My point is it gives you a certain visual element of retirement, and that's my point. Is they should just be enjoying retirement and not concerned about any of this shit. But something does happen when you get older, and I think we can all talk about it. I'm sure Olivia might have her perspective and Amy might have hers, but I suffer from anxiety, and I have suffered from anxiety since my medication after getting off of OxyContin and hydrocodone. And I used to have panic attacks, horrible panic attacks. I mean, and people don't understand when you hear a panic attack, it's like, oh, we breathe into a bag. No, I'm talking sweating through every portion of your clothes like you just literally jumped in the lake, turning white as a ghost, and having your chest feel like Wolverine stuck his claws in your chest and is ripping them apart. That's the type of anxiety attack I'm talking about. And the first couple, I thought I was having a heart attack. Mm-hmm. And I called EMTs, and they're like, no, dude. The moment I walked in, they're like, you're having an anxiety attack. I'm like, how the dude, put me up on the system, give me an EKG. No, you're not having a heart attack. I can tell. And it used to be that I'd worry about my job. I wouldn't hear from my boss for 2 or 3 days, and I would immediately start assuming the worst. And as a person who didn't have the information, I would fill in the gaps. And that was my problem, is that I was my own worst enemy. And when I had a lack of detail and information, I would start just plugging in holes. And when I couldn't come to a conclusion that was positive, I would fill it full of negative and assume the worst. And it cost me jobs. It cost me relationships with friends. It should have cost me my marriage at some point, because I guarantee there were times that it put Olivia in extremely difficult positions. And I think the only reason, and Liv can speak for herself, we'll ask her, but is the reason why it worked out is because she was just as fill the gaps as I was at times. And she would do damage, and then I would go through a great couple years of taking the damage, and I would stay, and then I would apply damage, and she would stay, and ultimately we just went through this 6-cycle carousel of doing damage to each other. And I'm not talking things that we didn't love each other or repairable or irreparable, but we would get into these funks and get into these just couple years of horrible. And most of it was due to her pregnancy, and most of it was due to my back. So something happened. And I know when I went to work for Flags of Valor and I left Comcast, I was very, very scared. Apple, I was very, very scared of leaving those two companies. And when I went to Flags of Valor, I was very scared during COVID. And in a period of like 5 years, I had about as much fear as a person could take financially. And once you've been shot at, you deal with, the metaphysical and physical fear, and then the financial and economic fear. And then obviously you're going to have a fear of life and death and all these things that spiritually and everything else that I had experienced 2 out of the 3, physical death and being, shot at, and then having a situation where financial, collapse was a possibility, and then spiritual fear of the beyond and everything else, I think are really the 3 big ones that you can experience. And after COVID, I just stopped worrying. And I can't explain it. I remember in Washington, D.C. at a event for Toyota and veteran hiring, I think it was Hiring Our Heroes event, a major event. I mean, The Rock was there. I mean, it was a huge event. And we were there, black tie. Dakota Meyer was there, and Dakota Meyer and I, had drinks and just talked about the military, and he wanted to go over, and I believe the Prime Minister of Turkey was in town, or the Ambassador of Turkey was in town right across the street, and he wanted to go in there and kidnap him, and he's like, how do we go and do that? Let's go to the White House and kidnap the Prime Minister of Turkey. And just realizing how fucking crazy Dakota Meyer is and why he won the Congressional Medal of Honor, because he's just crazy, fun, awesome, and hilarious. And, all of that. And talking about Sarah Palin and talking about his what was her name? Bridget. What was Sarah Palin's daughter's name? Liv?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter. She was with Dakota Meyer. Is it Bridget or something? Whatever. Anyway,
no, it sounds right.
Whatever. It's whatever. And so anyway, I remember the fear is because Olivia and I had like $20,000 after we built the deck and everything else, and we had things to pay for. And Olivia did not balance the book and just spent. Thank you, Frank Wood.
Thank you very much.
That helps, Frank. That helps a lot.
Thank you.
And if you guys want to donate, linktapgo.com/thedumshow. Every bit helps. Trust me, please. And I think we had $20,000, and
it was Bristol. That's right.
Bristol.
Amy just knows Bristol. Bridget Bristol. Same thing.
Close enough. Whatever.
Starts with a B.
Starts with a B. Has an R in it. And we went through like $37,000 in like 2 months, and just checks, moving in, paying moving companies, paying new decks, paying landscapers, paying, for new furniture, and didn't balance it. And all of a sudden we're $17,000 in debt, and I have no idea how we're going to pay it. And I'm down in DC, and I am just like screaming at Olivia, because this is like the 1,000th conversation we've had about always balance the book, right? And that's kind of her AOR. It's what she always did. And I remember this conversation. I was in a parking garage, and I was literally yelling so fucking loud that it was just ringing inside the parking garage. I was so mad. And I'm sitting here in a $1,000 tux, and I'm like, what am I doing? And why am I yelling? Because I don't think that she meant to do it. But there comes a point where you got to take responsibility, but this isn't going to solve anything. And at that point, we had a conversation over a couple of months about the book, and there became this patient, understanding, hey, let's calm this down, and let's make this situation where every time we do the book, it doesn't result in a fight, and just have a conversation. And it took almost 2 years to get Liv to invest in it and adult up on the book. But I realized that I spent 22 years full of anxiety and stress and anger and frustration, and would yell and get upset, when I realized that was probably causing her trepidation from doing the book in the first place. It's my fault. Now, it's certainly her fault for not doing it, but it's my fault for making her go, God, I don't want to miss a deposit and get my head bit off. So the reason I bring this up is that you really are the master of your universe, and what you allow into it and what you don't. And if you're sitting here and you're like, oh my God, Kamala Harris, and you're getting frustrated at Walz, and you're seeing the media and all the stooges say how great they are, and we know they're socialist progressives, and we know they're going to destroy this country, and you're just absolutely effing pissed and angry and mad, you need to stop, because all you're doing is projecting and establishing your own future. And this election is going to have ebbs and flows. And we have been in so many different facets of stasis since we've started this show. Donald Trump can't possibly win. Oh, Donald Trump will win. Oh, Donald Trump's going to be in jail. Oh, Donald Trump can't win a swing state to save his life. Oh, wait a second. Donald Trump's leading. Joe Biden's inept. Joe Biden's going to get replaced. No, we're going to World War III. Wait, civil war's coming here to the United States. Well, that's not going to be civil war. Trump was assassinated. No, wait, he wasn't assassinated. Yes, he is. No, he's not. No, they're going to get Biden. No, he's not. He's going to put him in jail. No, George is coming in civil suits, and Stormy Daniels, and fuck. It's too much. And if you're allowing all of that shit into your universe more than 2 minutes after you turn this show off, then you're missing the point of this show. This show is to observe the circus, not to become a fucking part of it.
Right.
This show is to analyze the circus and break down why it's full of shit and why it's not important to your life, and give you the things that are important and not the things that ultimately cause you more anxiety or stress. We've got to find a way to detach. We've got to find a way to just say, it's okay if I don't win this Facebook argument today. I have to do that. There's people on there and they come on there and they're just like, you're a effing Nazi. Okay. Bye. And sometimes I just don't even reply because I'm like, you don't even deserve it. And honestly, what's it going to do? It's not going to change your mind. It's not going to make that person go, wait, I love Republicans now. None of that's going to work. The only thing that will work is conversation, is talking. Is putting it on air and airing your stuff out there for other people to critique and give you some bearing on what their experiential learning is to help you navigate through these times. So I'm not telling you I'm perfect. I still worry, but what I don't do is, like when we had the Spreely thing, I didn't fucking melt down and just flip the fuck out. Olivia will tell you, I just calmly set the standard and then I left. And I could have been mad and where's my money and why didn't you pay me and why didn't you do what you promised and I worked my ass off for you and you strung me along. I didn't do it. I just said, we're done. I'm leaving. And what happened right after that? Jason calls from Wimkin and says, we're bumping you $1,000 a month. Why? Why are you doing that? So you don't have to worry about losing what you lost at Spreely. We got you. You're important to us. And I'm sitting here going, I could have just sweat. I could have worried. I could have freaked out. I could have cussed. I could have yelled. Just let go of the fucking wheel, people. Let go. Because you're not in charge. And I don't know if that's God or Cthulhu or Buddha or Jehovah or Allah. I don't know. But what I do know is that I don't have control over any of these things. I can't change people unless they are willing to change. I can't make them feel a certain way unless they want to feel a certain way. And if that's true, then why am I allowing other people to change the way I feel? Wait a second. There's the answer. I'm allowing it. If I don't possess the power to change people in the way they perceive things, in the way that they feel, how can they do it to me? What power do they possess? It's the power I give them. So when we talk tonight about, Tim Walz, and we talk about Kamala Harris, and we talk about Donald Trump, I want you to look at it from the perspective of the conversation isn't designed to inform you to get upset. It's designed to teach you and for us to teach each other how to process what's truly important out of the things that are really distracting us from getting the big picture. That's the show. That's what we do here. Now, there are nights where we'll scream and get upset and just get pissy, but that's a venting process. That's a process to get to a stasis of calm. So let's kind of hear from Olivia, hear from Amy. I want to know what their thoughts are. It's not about agreeing with me, but I want to know where you're at, what you think, and how you're processing the tumultuous times that we're in. Who wants to go first?
Amy can go.
Okay, Amy.
Oh my gosh. It's like you're in my head sometimes. I had this conversation with my kids today in the car about being worried. And, my son, I think I said this the other day, he questions everything. He's very interested in politics. He wants to watch the news. He wants to know what's going on in the world. So we do let him watch certain things. Not everything, because not everything's appropriate for him. However, there's been a lot of anxiety with what's going on, and he doesn't know the full extent, but he asks questions about, the different conflicts that are happening. And then my daughter was talking about having anxiety about flying, and she's afraid that our plane's going to crash. And I'm like, well, it could. And she's like, what? I'm like, and I told her, I'm like, well, it very well could. I said, it's highly unlikely for that to happen. However, if we are in a plane crash, one, thank God we are all together on this plane. So if we all die, we're all
Yeah.
dead together. And that's just how I would prefer it to be. I don't want to live without my kids or anything like that. So not to be morbid, but I told her, I'm like, it's just like when we go to bed at night, we pray, for Jesus to let us see the sunrise in the morning. However, if we don't see the sunrise, hopefully we see his son. We're not God, we see Jesus, God's son. And we're okay either way. If we wake up to the sunrise, we're good. If we wake up to Jesus, Son of God, we're good. Same thing with if we crash in a plane, as morbid and terrifying as it sounds, I'm like, we'll be fine. Like, it doesn't matter. We have no control. We have to just give it up to God. And I'm terrible at taking my advice. I am constantly worried, constantly living with anxiety myself. And it's funny because I actually was listening to this young woman. I think she was somewhere, I think it was an Asian country. I'm not sure, but she was talking about how in their country,
Mexico.
it was definitely Mexico. No, she was from a communist country or a form. I don't know if she was a form. I missed the beginning of it, so I don't know where she was from. But she was talking about how when she was growing up, she's like, you weren't allowed to, feel anything. You
Vietnam.
weren't allowed to be. It might have
Vietnam.
been. She was like, you weren't allowed to have like teenage angst or like hormones. She's like, you just behaved the way you were expected. There was no leeway. There was no talking back to your family. There was no going off the deep end. It wasn't even a thought because it was just not allowed. And so she's like, I've never had anxiety. I've never had any of these things because it just wasn't a thing. You just took what was given to you and that was it. And I'm like, gosh, if we could all live that way. I can't, but
Yeah.
I'm privileged.
Well, you got to ask yourself the question, truly, though, if you have no investment in the things that are around you and you ignore the management of them, is it that you don't have anxiety or is it that you don't have perspective? And it's an interesting question to ask because I don't know. I've never been in that situation. So it's interesting for sure. But the whole thing that we're talking about tonight, shirt of the show, you can see it up there. It's kind of, I don't want to put it over Amy, but it's the Leroy shirt. So Merry Christmas. It is a question to think about, right? Like, if you brush everything off, if you don't take any personal accountability, you're not invested. There is another end to anxiety, and I guess that's just people who are dismissive, right? Who just dismiss everything as unimportant, and I don't know if that's the answer either. I think it's important to care. I think it's important to invest. I think it's important to stay informed. But once again, when you're sitting down at the table and you're with your family and you're eating and you're asking and appreciating what you're thankful for, does anyone say, I hope Stormy Daniels doesn't get paid? I don't think anyone's saying that. So if it's not important for us to sit at the table and commune and share ideas and the things that are important to us, and we're not talking about Stormy Daniels, then why are we taking it into our hearts and letting it bother us to a point of, E. Jean Carroll or Tim Walz or whatever? So there's a time and a place is what I'm saying. And that place is here. This is a great place to kind of talk about it, listen, and get your opinions in. Call the show. Phone number's down there, 804-212-2208. And then let's just stop. Because the one thing that all of us have in common is that we're all very interested in the political fray. And the question is it doing you any good? Are you in a better place than you were 4 years ago, spiritually, metaphysically, anatomically, financially, from talking about it every minute of the day, the same thing? And if you are, great. And if you're not, then maybe a change is in order. Before we hear Olivia, we have a caller. Caller, you can turn down your phone.
You're in a better place than you were 4 years
Caller.
ago, spiritually, metaphysically.
All right, caller, if you're going to call in, you got to mute the show. So what you do, if it's on your phone, you close the show. And let's try that one more time. All right, here we go. All right, caller, can you hear us now? Call ended. All right, try again. One last time. Olivia, why don't you go ahead and start? We'll see if they can call in real quick.
Okay, so I was just thinking that it's kind of funny that I had more anxiety and depression when I was younger and in my early 20s.
Ashley, read above Olivia's head. Yeah. Go ahead.
And in my early 20s, when you're supposed to be, nothing can touch me, nothing can stop me, I'm going to live forever. You're supposed to have that mentality at that age compared to now in my mid 40s. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety at 25. I know I had it earlier than that. It runs in the family. My mom had it. Brother, sister had it. So I knew I was going to get it at some point. I had depression during Hayden's pregnancy. Apparently, I had postpartum depression after Hayden's pregnancy. I just didn't know. Mm-hmm. And I also didn't realize that if you don't take care of it, postpartum depression can last 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
All right, caller. Let's try again. Who are we talking to?
It's Frank.
Hey, Frank. You got to mute your phone for sure if you're watching the show. What did you want to talk about, brother? Olivia was talking about anxiety and postpartum depression and stuff. What did you want to talk about?
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about what you were talking about earlier about just taking care of what's around you and taking care of your family. Mm-hmm. You know, I watched your interaction last night with Leroy, and to me that was one of the best shows I think he had on. It's just the way you two interacted with one another and the brotherly love that you showed for one another. I just, you know, I get it 100%, and I loved it. And I love Leroy. Sometimes I think he doesn't get to espouse enough of what he thinks, and that's not your fault. It's just that I would like to hear more of what that man has to say, because I just think he's on top of things. Mm-hmm. But a lot of what we're going through right now is people being sucked into the diatribe of the leftists that are trying to get us to believe things that are not true. And it pisses me off that people are that gullible that they would buy into these kind of things and listen to what they have to say. And when I saw that Kamala thing last night, their God, it was just so unreal.
Yeah, they're fake.
All these,
yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely fake. You're absolutely right. It is so contrived. It is not grassroots. That's what they're trying to get you to believe. And people, please do not buy into their bullshit. I mean, excuse the language, but don't buy into it. They're trying to manipulate you. They're trying to get you to buy into this, oh, we are so great and we are trying so hard to make things great for America. Did you notice last night they had not one American flag behind them? Not one.
Yeah. That doesn't, yeah, that's kind of par for the course, you know, with them.
Well, yeah. And why did anybody else know? Was I the only one that noticed that? Was I the only one that noticed that they are not for America? They are for their communist beliefs. And why people are buying into this, I will never know. I could not believe the people that were behind them, nodding their heads, clapping like a bunch of seals, going, oh, yeah, we're behind you. What are they buying into? Do you think any one of them have asked themselves, what are we buying into? Other than this God, what is the word I'm looking for here?
Bullshit.
Help me out, Matthew.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Listen, can we just be
That's a good
honest?
word.
It's just complete bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's designed exactly what you said. I don't need to fill in the blanks for you. You've got it. It's designed to distract you and make you fearful, not to it's to disenfranchise you. It's to get you to think and turn on Donald Trump and turn on the Republican Party. Listen, it doesn't change overnight, folks. It's not the way it works. Millions of people just didn't change their mind and decide to vote for Kamala Harris. Just like when he was the assassination attempt, millions of people didn't switch there and vote for Donald Trump. That's not the way this works. People are Kamala Harris could come out and say, fuck the United States. It's all about the USSR. White people should be hung from trees. Go fuck yourself. And her people are still going to vote for her. And Donald Trump can come out there and use naughty N-word limericks, and the people are going to vote for him. I understand that that's an extreme, but listen, think about it. Kamala Harris, what has she done? Let's look at her progressive socialist policies, from late-term abortion, from tax and spend politics, from throwing black people in prison with unjust fucking sentencing. We can go on, and I can do this all day. She's a Maoist. Her father was an open communist. She pretends that she's black and placates black people and sells out her supposed race, goes into a music store and buys 3 albums that I've owned since I was fucking 12 years old. Excuse me, I've owned Miles Davis and Louis Armstrong records since I was 12. I've owned Aretha Franklin. What the?
Amen.
How black can you be if you just bought those albums on vinyl? Give me a break. You're full of shit. So we can sit here and pretend that right there is not bad enough to turn her vote away. They don't care. Because what they believe is that the shit that Kamala will do is going to benefit them in the long run, and the shit that Donald Trump will do is going to benefit us in the long run. And that's all we care about. And none of it's true. We're all going to take it in the shorts because that's the thing. We're Americans. If it hurts half of America, that's not good for America. This is the problem. We're looking for the answers. The best answer I can give you is, why is Willie Nelson's beard brown and soggy? He's looking for love in all the wrong places. Okay? So are we. We're looking for answers in an area that is not the answers. This is the problem. This isn't the fucking answer, is to worry about the federal government. It's about working about our towns and our cities and our municipality and our neighbors and our property values and where our kids go to school and how we communally cooperate together to make a better neighborhood, which will then make a better town and a better city and a better district and a better state, and in the end, a better country. I'm with you, Frank.
Matthew, you are so on point. We have lost our priorities. People do not know what they've gone with identity politics.
Yeah.
It's not what you stand for. It's what the media presents to you. And that's where we're in major problems right now. And before I forget, I'm not going to take up all your time. I know you have things that you want to talk about, but I need to tell you this. I am old enough to be your father, okay?
Yeah.
I admire you and I respect you so much. You, Olivia, I love Amy. I think her T-shirts always look at the beginning of Star Wars because they start wide.
Why? Because she has 2 Death Stars in her shirt.
We knew that was coming.
Yeah, we'll call them Death Stars.
Yeah, I know.
They are major Death Stars.
We all feel the same way. Olivia was talking about Amy's boobs yesterday, surprisingly enough, when we were off. And
I'm minimizing bra today on. I'm like, they're squished down today.
But look, all I wanted to tell you is that I respect you so much. I believe in what you're doing. I think you are serving mankind right now. I honestly believe that. I think you're getting the truth out. You're telling things. I admire the way you're not afraid to speak your mind. And man, I respect that so much. and I think I speak for everybody else out there, all the dummies that are listening and that are in the chat room right now. I'm not in the chat because I'm on full screen, but I just wanted you to know that I think I speak for everybody. We respect you. We love you. We believe in what you're doing. And brother, do not stop. I've had everybody in my family in the military, my being the only person that was not, and that was because my lottery number in 1969 came up 352. And I regret that to this day. But I wish I would have been in the military. I think I would have learned so much more. But I respect you so much. And I just wanted to tell you how much I love you and how much I respect you. And just keep on doing what you're doing, brother, because you are going to get big. I promise you that. Doing what you're doing is for the common good. And that's what we're all after.
I appreciate it, man. That was very, very heartfelt and thoughtful. I'm already huge, by the way. It's genetics, and I was born with horse DNA. So, but from at least from
you're such a braggart.
Yeah, anatomically for sure. But listen, Frank, it means the world to me, and I thank you so much. And it's good to hear that. And I'm not very good with compliments. I've never been that way, so I'll just try to humbly say thank you, and I appreciate your call, Bubba.
Yeah, Frank,
well,
it was
listen,
a pleasure.
Man, let me tell you something. Olivia, I love you too. But let me tell you something. I live down in North Carolina. I'm not that far away from you. I would give anything to come up and just meet you and shake your hand.
Fuck yes.
And give you a hug and tell you how much I love you.
I'll take you to Tammy's.
Aww.
Yeah, dude. Listen, we're talking about trying to get a Tammy's thing going on here, and we're gonna invite people, and we think it'd be awesome, you know. And maybe I don't know, maybe it's renting a couple buses or something like that, and maybe doing a little small convention of people together and inviting like Hung Cow and some local conservatives. We're in Washington. I could probably get Eli Crane to come down. If we can get like 200-300 people to come, you know, we could start holding our own TPUSA. Yeah, get Ryan Weaver to come out. Go ahead.
I don't think it would be that hard to do. I think you have enough people in this area that would be more than willing to do that. I think that's a great idea. And then if there's anything, I don't know if you've got my number or not from me calling in. If you do, feel free to call me anytime.
Yeah, we'll set something up, dude. I mean, we'll absolutely do that. We're trying to figure out with the DUM Club how to make it, you know, a little bit more cohesive. Once we get the app, like tomorrow I get an Android device, which is like once it arrives here, it's going to start burning the ground and sizzling my hands. Because I've never owned an Android device in my life, but I need it to check the app in order to sign off for Jason.
And you'll be frustrated.
Right. So I ordered a $35 tablet to check it. So I'm signing off on the app tomorrow, and then we're submitting it to the stores. That's going to help us stay in contact. That's going to help for us to kind of streamline. What's great is that the show's going to be streamed to that app too, live. So no more of this worried about Facebook. We're going to lose the internet.
Just so you know, if the show goes dead, all of a sudden it's because we got thunder rolling in right now and it's really loud. So
yeah, Tommy, remind me to get your name up on the site for DUM Club. Got to get you taken care of there. Thank you for joining the DUM Club. So, Frank, I'm going to let you go, Bubba. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Frank.
Anytime, okay?
Frank. And
all right, man. Love you guys.
All right, love you too, buddy. See you soon.
Be with you.
All right, you too, Frank. Thanks.
I just want to add to Frank's comment about like having a get together. I still think that David Keener would be like the go-to person. I know he owns One Family Brewing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, we talked about this. Then let's do it. Amy, you are an owner. You are a founder. You own shares in Wimkin. You don't have to wait for my permission. Do it.
Okay. Yeah, I love him. He's an amazing person. He supports the military. He's the one that he got it funded for the
Gold Star families, right?
Thank you. Yes, Gold
Star
Family Memorial.
We built him flags. We built him flags at Flags of Valor.
He's an amazing
I know.
human. His family is awesome. Like he is just one of those people that you're like, gosh, this guy is just just does everything for everyone. He's just a good person. He would absolutely let us he does Freedom Fest every year. He's a really good person. He's got all this property. It's right by my house. He let my parents park their RV on this land just because he's nice. Like he's just a nice person.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get it set up and let's do it. I'm totally, but the thing is, I'm one guy. So when people go, how do I help? That's how you help. It's just run with it. Let's set something up and let's do it. And even if it's remote, we put it on the internet and we stream it. And it could be a big event. We can get Still Point up here to play, and we could do shit that would be incredible. Get Mike McCarthy out here to sign books, and get Eli Crane to come out here and talk about his We could do some remotes and hire, bring Hung Cow out here. Get Ollie North to come on the show. I mean, shit, we can do a ton. We just got to do it real quick. I am not going to Android. That's not what I fucking said, Bordeaux. Seriously, get your shit together. I didn't say those. Those words never came out of my fucking mouth. I said I ordered a piece of shit tablet so I can check the app out, and right when I'm done, I'm going to throw it away. It's $35. Android does not live in my house. I don't believe in unsecured. Oh, what?
Jason has an Android, so yeah, I don't get it either. So if you need someone to check on Android Loserville crap,
I need to physically. I need an Android device, and I'm not going to go out and buy a fucking $1,000 phone or a $600 phone. So Jason's like, well, you need to. I'm like, well, just let me check it on Apple. He's like, well, he doesn't know how to do that. I don't think. I think he can code for it, but he doesn't understand all the SDK kits and all that shit, which I do. But I'm not going to go. I don't have time to help him with that. That's his thing. He knows how to do coding. So I just told myself, I'll get an Android, $35. I'll sign off on it tomorrow, and we'll be good to go. And then we can put the app live. So the beta test, we're going to put it up into the stores. We're going to let you guys test it, break it, destroy it, find out what it needs, what it doesn't need, and then this thing will be crushing, and it's going to be free. We're not charging you a penny for it. It's always going to be free. Always, always, always. I can't do an iPhone. It'll be on Android. It's going to be on both. All right. Amy says, mail it to me. Don't throw it away. Fine. We'll buy you an Android device. There. See? Solved. I'll send you 35. You've earned it. Consider that your pay for the year. We'll see you in 2025. So Liv, you were telling a story about
Yeah. So postpartum depression. Last 3 to 5 years, I did not take care of it after Hayden had severe postpartum depression with Ethan. So I know a lot about depression. And as far as what Matt and I went through, the ebbs and flows of our relationship, we'll go through that on Thursday, the 22nd, when we do our Matt and Olivia anniversary special. That's
going to be fun. I'm really excited for that show because that's a great story. But it's good.
For better or for worse, in sickness and in health, is very true when you say your vows. That's all I'm going to say on that. But I get it. I was like, what? Yeah. Yes, I understand now. Yeah, that's true. So
because that's been a lot of our problems, right? I mean, most of it has been around sickness, mental or physical. Yeah. Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
And the obey shit that you don't follow. I mean,
no, obey was not in our
except in the bedroom. Yeah, you totally obey in the bedroom.
That's true. But obey was not in our wedding vows. Thank you very much.
So. Yeah, if I had a chance to go back in time and rectify, I would.
Yeah, you would also say obey to me too, though.
No, because when they're like, do you obey? I'll be like, no, but she said she would. So now you have to marry me, and you can't argue about it. See, I had it all set up.
That's great.
Go ahead.
So I used to get extremely worked up on Facebook, and I would get into heated conversations. I remember one with, I grew up in Montana, so I have a lot of friends in Montana. And when we went through Harvey, they had massive wildfires. And they were horrible. Like the air quality, you couldn't even see. It was so bad. And I got into some wicked fight on Facebook with somebody I didn't even know, who was a Facebook friend on one of my friends' profiles. And all she said was something about the fires, and I would rather be swimming than not being able to breathe. And I took complete and total offense to that because we had just went through Harvey. So I jumped down her shit. And I used to do it all the time, constantly. And one day I just woke up and I said, this is dumb. I don't know these people. I'm not going to change their mind. This is just causing me stress that I don't need in my life, and there's no point. So I just made I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Even I've a couple times for the show I've got on, but there have been times when Matt's been in an argument or whatever. It's been somebody's been on, and he's like, "Are you going to get on?" Nope, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. And I've jumped in maybe 2 or 3 times in the past 4 years. I don't want to do it. It's just, and to be honest, I haven't even really posted on Facebook in a long time. And after almost losing my children, there really nothing compares to that. That was the most stressful time in our life. And I have to say, after that ended, it's amazing how close we've become as a family and how much closer Matt and I are for going through that. When they say that either going through something traumatic like that can either break you or bring you closer together, it's very true, because it definitely brought us closer together.
Yeah.
And on a funny note of Facebook, how Hayden told me I'm not allowed to post any pictures of her. Not allowed. I can't do it. So I haven't done it. So the other day she goes, and this is the reason why, because she's 14 and she's boy crazy now. When we lived in Albuquerque and she was about 16 months old, I opened a at-home daycare so I could stay home with her. And I had like 5 kids that I watched. They were all Hayden's age. Well, there was this little boy named Connor. And Hayden called him Con, and they were best buds. Well, I'm friends with his mom on Facebook, so I see updated pictures of him. So she's just like, do you still keep in touch with Connor? I was like, yeah, I'm friends with his mom. She goes, do you have any pictures? I said, sure. Showed a picture, and she was like, oh my gosh, he's so hot. And I was like, holy cow.
So
she
gross.
goes, if we were still in Albuquerque, we would totally be a thing. I know we would be a thing. And I'm like,
so gross.
She's going to listen. I guarantee she's going to run up the stairs.
They'll never find him. He's gone. I love the kid too. He was a good kid.
He was a good kid. He was yeah.
Was a
he
good
was
kid.
Funny. But she's like, if I'm seeing his pictures, that means he can see my pictures. Mom, what pictures do you have of me on Facebook? And I said, you told me to stop posting. I'm like, I don't have anything of you that's recent. And she goes, oh, I can't believe you don't have anything of me. Like, she sends me like 20 pictures. You need to post these pictures now of me. And I'm like, you promised not to post anything of you. Do I have permission to post now? Gotta love teenage girls. It's gonna be an interesting 4 years with her, because now she's talking about hot actor. She wants to go see the Twisters movie, not because she wants to see the movie, but because the lead actor is super hot and she's got a crush on him. And I was like,
gross.
I really don't want to deal with this over the next 4 years. But
gross.
I got the mom's curse because I was probably worse than her. I was totally
you were
crazy when I was her.
You were a total whore.
I was not a whore. I was total boy crazy.
Folks, the Documents of Freedom was our #1 box that we sold 150 units. It was actually 149. I think I have to send one out to Ramon, and I got to find one more box. But anyway, the new one is The Republic for Which It Stands, all engraved, full engraving, colored red on the front, and then blue on the side. You can see the engraved star right here, which is 3-dimensional. It's pretty cool, and it looks very much like the CIA stars for the NOC agents, engraved, and it's very, very neat. A recessed, embossed, if you will. Comes with 3 books. The American Flag, which talks about flag etiquette, all leather bound, which is pretty damn cool. All made in the USA. Everything is, yes, it's made in the USA. That's what's really cool. I talked to Applewood Books today, and they are allowing us to become a vendor. So all the Applewood Books and Arcadia Publishing, I'm filing for a vendor's license with them.
Yay, that's
but we will sell all of their books. Talk to them today. Emancipation Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. Flag etiquette's going to cover your flag and how to take care of it at night, when to surrender it. Emancipation Proclamation, all 4 drafts, which is actually kind of cool. So you're not just getting the first, but you're getting the renditions of when Supreme Court, obviously, when habeas corpus was suspended for Supreme Court, that he changed and curtailed based upon some advice from multiple factions of government who were like, no, that's not good enough. You got to do this. You got to do this. So you get to see kind of the etymology of the emancipation. And then a book which I thought would be very, very important, especially for grandkids and kids, is the Book of Virtues by Benjamin Franklin. And it's talking about his virtuous life as a young man, and the thing that virtue isn't just for a woman. Virtue is for a man too. And whether that's how you treat your spouse or how you treat your business relationships, to be virtuous is not just inherent in a female characteristic. It's also for men too. So a very eclectic set, but it's also 3 very important documents in our nation's history, all available right now at thedumbshow.com. Custom made wood. This isn't some cheap tchotchke shit. It is actual wood made by pfcflag.com, where you can see the wooden flag behind me is made by them, and a lot of other things. Available right now, shipping September 1st. I wanted to give you guys an understanding about that. Plus, we have a whole bunch of clothes and amazing coffee. I'm rebranding the coffee. Same coffee, just getting different labels. Now that Joe Biden's out, I got to come up with something different than FJB. So we're going to be rebranding the coffee. But go over to dumbshow.com. You'll see all that. Now that
we're going to have like fashion, like commie coffee or something like that.
We already have commie coffee.
I don't know.
Commie coffee is the decaf coffee.
Oh.
We've already got commie. Wow, you are so into our brand. Thank you for being well aware. We've only had it for 4.
Coffee.
I don't drink it.
You don't. Well, I know you don't drink it, but you don't drink commie coffee. But
we could be unburdened by what has brewed.
We could call it unburdened.
Yeah, unburdened.
Oh my God, we could call it unburdened by Kamala. Yeah. So if you're over here, folks, real quick, this is our store. And our site, trust me when I say this, our site is badass. We get a lot of accolades from people that talk about it. But if you want coffee, it's all right here. Fantastic, amazing. If you look at our coffee, it all has 5 stars. Everything. It doesn't matter what it is. But 9 reviews. Now you guys got to understand, the average usually get 1 review per 100 purchases. That's pretty incredible. And if you go to the bottom of our page, you'll see that we are certified and ranked as one of the highest on the internet. This is no joke. 172 reviews. So that's 11,000 sales, essentially, is what you're almost 17,000 sales. So you get, or 1,700 sales, excuse me. It's a pretty incredible, no, it's more than that, because it's on average, you get 1 review per 100 sales on the internet. So I don't even know how many sales we're at, but when we did the try it in a small town, we did like $13,000 on those shirts. That was incredible. But we have a Diamond J rating, which is for transparency. And transparency is we publish 100% of our reviews, good or bad. You don't see that anywhere. 172 verified reviews, which means none of them are fake. They're all real. That's a J rating. Bronze authenticity, at least 80% of published reviews are verified reviews. So I've got other reviews on there that aren't verified, but I don't count them into the overall review count. Monthly record, 10 months in a row with verified reviews. Top 5% in the nation. Top 5%. And that's in customer service, and that's in overall review performance. And top 10% in the stores in the world. That's not a bad thing. So our stuff is high quality. Go take a look. You can go over to the Dumb Show and navigate. Also, we have the shows, and this is the time we do this. We take a couple minutes. You can listen to all the podcasts right here, ready to go. 100%, all of our shows. And the latest show that we have done is The Walls Are Closing In. That's available. All you do is hit play, and you're going to get it.
Voters 50 and over have the power to decide elections. They vote in big numbers, and they want candidates who will fight for their families.
We get commercials on our podcast. So there you go. The only thing that has commercials is our podcast. If you want to watch our show, it's all ad-free. You can come over here, and you can see our latest just by clicking, and you got the video at your fingertips right there. Folks, our site is exceptional, and it's free content. We don't put it behind a paywall. Our news is 100% free. No ads. And the reason why we do this is because we work off donations, and we want you to pay what you think it's worth. And whether we're doing our daily news, which our articles are fantastic, 1,200 words, 900 words. They're quick, they're simple to read, but they also have articulate and decisive meaning to every single one. We put an investment into them. You can go over there and do that, and by going to linktapgo.com/thedumbshow if you want to donate and help to the show.
Got a good name for coffee.
What?
Cackling Camilla.
Cackling Camilla? Oh, I like that.
That was Angel's idea. I like that.
We'll go ahead and do that.
Unburdened Mark's Blend.
I like the unburdened. Right. Well,
unburdened by what can be brewed.
Well, what's funny is that I did a new. You guys write these down, please, because one of them will be successful.
Okay, somebody write them down and then message me all the names, please.
I did a new campaign slogan for Kamala, and knee pads and man pawns 2024.
love that.
People want a shirt. So anyway, that's the top half of our show at the 8 o'clock hour. Go over to Wimkin. Stacy said she did. Stacy, here's the thing. Jason approves all of those. Wait 24 hours. Just put in your username and password that you selected. Yahoo, Comcast, they don't forward emails from Wimkin. They put them on the blacklist. Now, the good news is Apple, Truth Social, Jason just announced that Truth Social and Wimkin are working together. They're going to actually start streaming videos, and they're building relationships. And this is a good thing. Sounds like something might be happening with coming together with Truth Social, which is exciting. Apple is also allowing their dating app. So Jason's reputation somehow was damaged in J6 because people were on his platform saying things they shouldn't, and they've been hitting him ever since. He's moving free of that. He did nothing wrong. He's a good human being. He's a great human being. He's a good friend. So if you go there, put in your username, put in your password, and it should already be approved. If it's not, we have a Wimkin help number, our URL that somebody's going to put up for you from our mod team, which will help you get it, and it goes directly to the CEO, Jason. Okay?
Question.
Yeah.
Do we have possibility of getting V-necks for girls?
V-neck T-shirts? Yeah, I can do that. The problem is that when I do that, and people don't order them. So if you're going to order them, tell me what specific V-necks you want, and I'll slowly introduce them. Now, the tank tops are doing very well. So when I do shirts now, everybody gets tank tops. Tank tops have been selling like crazy. I think they're a cheaper price point. So yes, if you want V-necks or baby doll tees or whatever, I'll start doing that. All right, we got to move. It's obviously needed. Yeah.
Coffee suggestion. Like for the darkest roast, just do like trumped up charges, something like that. It's a super dark one.
It's not bad. Well, that's what I should do is I should put Kamala and call it a Jamaican dark roast.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And do a Jamaican dark roast for Kamala. I think that would be fantastic. We'll
Hillbilly brew or fugitive blend.
I'm gonna see if I can do. I'm gonna see if I can do for. See if I can do a decaf Kamala unburdened by what has been Jamaican dark roast. Happy birthday, Susie.
Happy
all right.
Susie.
So let's get into it now that we've kind of set the tone about what the show is and how we handle this stuff. I just recognize people seem to be really stressed out right now, and God, just vampire, holy shit, just turn into ash from that brightness. I think people are stressed out, and let me just tell you this. This is the truth, okay? And I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I've got quite a few people on. It's doing really well tonight, and here it is. Donald Trump's probably not going to win this election.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris is probably not going to win this election. That's what you need to know. There's people that are, Donald Trump's going to win. Kamala's going to win. There's no evidence of either of those things, but there is evidence that both of them are probably not going to win. One of them is going to win, but both sides of the camp are going, Kamala's not going to win. And Donald Trump camp is going, Donald Trump's not going to win. That's because most of America doesn't like either candidate. So we don't know what's going to happen until election day. But I'm telling you what my gut tells me is there is a very large dark vote out there, and it's not Jamaican and Indian dark. But in 2016, there was a silent minority vote that was very, very scared to talk about Donald Trump, and that's what got him the election. They didn't answer the polls. I believe we're in the same state. I think people are afraid of the government. I think they're afraid of the FBI. I think they're afraid of the three-letter agencies. They're afraid of people knowing of how they truly feel about our government, and people are being quiet about who they're going to vote for. That is something I think is going to be a deciding factor. Okay? So know that both odds for both of them they're not very good. But either is their favorability. So you have to, it's a choice between this. Do we want more of the same, or do we want the guy who says mean things but will give us something different? I think America is ready for something different. I think they've had enough of Democrat policies. I think they're going to give Donald Trump a lame duck presidency. It makes sense. It's what I would do. If I was America, is I would give him the White House, and then I would make sure that he doesn't have the Senate or the state legislature. That ensures that nobody gets anything done. And they must force the status quo. That's what history tells us America's going to do. Go ahead, Amy.
I was going to say it would be smart for the Democrats to actually put him in office so they can blame him for our economy and all the wars and put it all, just like dump it all on him, because whoever inherits this next shit show of a country we have is in for, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So it's just inevitable. So yeah, whoever is the next president is going to have a shitstorm to clean up. So good luck to them. And I hope it's Trump, because I think he'll do a better job of cleaning it up.
Well, here's the thing is I think the moment that Trump takes office, some things inherently are going to be true. One is that the Israeli war with Iran will come to a de facto state of ceasing to exist. I believe that because I know what Iran is afraid of. The thing that people need to understand is Donald Trump declared war on Iran. He attacked a sovereign country and assassinated Soleimani. That's an attack on Iran. Can you imagine if someone just all of a sudden just whacked JD Vance or whacked one of the top military leaders? What would we do? Well, we'd go to war for sure. Somebody travels to Saudi Arabia and they're killed by Iran. Can you imagine what we would do? Well, this administration wouldn't do shit. I mean, we were just got Al-Assad air base attacked and we didn't do anything. But my point is this, is Iran understands the consequence if Donald Trump is in office. And they didn't say boo to us for 4 years. They stopped the frickin' bringing their pontoon boats against aircraft carriers, the American sailors being taken hostage. That shit stopped. They stopped fucking around. And I think Israel and Iran would cease to be an issue. And the reason why is Donald Trump would get the petrodollar solved with Saudi Arabia immediately. And he would reinstitute peace talks with Saudi and Iran. And then Iran would Saudi Arabia would bitch slap Iran into conformity, which is what they did in 2016 to 2020. So that's number one. The border immediately shored up. The border will get its funding. He's going to use an executive order, and people won't, they're not going to say dick about it, okay? Because that money that he has from the defense budget is still there from 2018 when he appropriated the defense budget and redirected it towards the wall. It's still there. And he can use an executive order to take that money. Now, the state can block it, but state legislature is not going to go ahead and block that, especially when they just ran on that the border is something they care about. So he shores the border. Inflation, he's going to get the Fed. He's going to squeeze the Fed. He's going to squeeze the Fed to lower interest rates. Now, ultimately, there's a couple things that'll happen. Is inflation is an issue because small business is no longer in charge of the dollar. The dollar is being lent out to overseas, to larger corporations, and small businesses have been reduced in overall size and overall complexity towards the overall budget of the United States. When you do this, it changes the way the economy in the United States runs. You also have a situation where you don't have a surplus. So all the money that they're printing overall is impacting the valuation of the dollar. So even though inflation may be stagnant, we haven't recovered from the valuation of the overall weakness of the dollar. Donald Trump would deregulate small businesses, remove those policies Biden put in place, increase energy production, which is ultimately going to trickle down to all businesses. The moment we become energy independent again, you will start seeing that money and that overall freedom and those deregulations on businesses will create more GNP towards our overall revenue. So that fixed that problem because he's already done that before. It's going to change the way China does things. It's going to change the grab ass that they're playing. I believe Russia and Ukraine will be solved by Donald Trump in a heartbeat because here's what he's going to do. He's going to tell Russia, we're going to put the worst sanctions in the world on you fuckers, and Ukraine, you're not getting another fucking dollar from us. You hit the peace table or you're done. We're going to bankrupt Russia, and Ukraine is going to become a part of Russia. We're going to walk away. And he should, because there is no end game to this. This is going to be a 20-year Afghanistan war. We're going to be putting $300 billion a year to this thing at any time. And honestly, it's a war that you need to be putting in 700 to 800 million annually in order to even compete with Russia's budget. So Donald Trump is going to do things on day one that are going to change the face of our country. But that doesn't matter, because nobody cares about that on the left. The only thing the left cares about is that they get tampons in their bathroom, that black people are subject to white people's hatred, and that the entire country needs to be on an apology tour to the world because we're ignorant, arrogant Americans. They want a populist, or they want a nationalist type, scratch that. They want a populist type government. They want a world order. They want the same dollar. They want America leading it like a monarchy. They believe that they want to expand the federal government to a worldwide government. We want a nationalist society. We want focus on the United States. Those are the simplest terms. And until a Republican says those things, you're not going to get the leftist vote. We have to curtail to the moderates. That's why Donald Trump needs to shut up. He needs to stop fucking going after women in Georgia and Kemp's wife. He needs to ensure that he gets Nikki Haley on the ticket or in the administration so he can get those votes. If he doesn't do those things, he's just tying an anchor around his neck. Now, this is the long and short of it. I apologize for the length of this, but this is where we're at as a country. Ladies, did you want to add anything before we start going into a couple of videos?
Yeah, if Trump loses, Kamal's just gonna make more of a mess.
We're done.
She's going to add to it, and there's going to be no fixing of anything. It's just going to be, it's like a teenager's room. There's no cleaning it. It's just constant mess.
It's over. They expand the courts. They make Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, et cetera, make them states. Those are predominantly liberal. They expand the overall electorate. They have more senators than us. That destroys the filibuster. They vote the filibuster out, and then they get a 51 vote. They have more states than us at that point because of the overall expansion of the courts. They put in a California model for the economy nationally. They believe that California isn't successful because of California's policy. They believe it's because it's the #1 producing state and also one of the largest countries in the world, that it needs to be replicated across the United States to be the largest producing, and therefore it will automatically translate to a national stage. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works, considering that California's #1 product that it produces is tourism.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go to fucking Montana. Nobody's going to go to Iowa to see the cornfields. Go ahead, Amy.
Montana's awesome.
It is awesome, but nobody's going to go there. It's not going to get 30 million visitors a year.
It's true. It's because we're beach people by and large, right? No one lives on the coast. We're all middle America for the most part. So we want to go to where we can't live because we can't afford it. No, I agree with everything you said. I am worried, especially after the comments from what's her name, JBK. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I never know her name.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
American show #1.
How they're very excited that Ukraine is now, on the offense, and I was like, wow, I just couldn't believe the positive vibe she put out, and I was like, that is just not what any country should say, honestly. But she's like, yeah, we're going to support them. I think it's great. We're going to keep them going on the offense. I don't know if that's the right move, and I don't know. I'm not in politics, thank goodness, but it's just a lot. I'm concerned, but again, we'll also be here.
Well, the interesting thing is Cherry says, Matt, is it Sherry or Cherry? It's Cherry. CH, right? It's not Sherry.
Sherry.
How is that Sherry?
So how's it spelled? CHERI?
Yeah.
It's
I-E.
Because Sherry.
Sherry. Oh,
like
oui,
Cheryl
en Paris.
CH.
It's Sherry. Sherry. But Cherry, I've done this before. I get see, this is the thing. I can sit here and I can rattle off a million words that nobody uses, and I struggle with Sherry and Christine and Kristen. I don't know why. Welcome to dyslexia, folks. There's nothing I can do about it. When I see that, I see Cherry Stacy.
Mon Chéri.
Mon Chéri in Paris.
Which means you need to talk to her in your French accent.
But it's Cherie, right? Mm-hmm. So it's Shari. I was right. It's Shari, but it's Shari. Oui, oui. Baguette in French phrase. I cannot do the quoi.
How was that?
Matt, what do you think Trump means when he says we will not vote ever again? Not sure if it was exactly how he said it, but close. Listen, I think that the way you need to understand is that the Electoral College is, I don't think Democrats would destroy the way we vote. I believe they want the presidency to be the exact same as the popular vote across the United States. But that's the issue, is it's not okay, I'm going to say this again, and I don't think anyone says this like I say this. I've never heard anyone say this. The president is not the president of the people. Everything, he's my president. No, he's not. In fact, Joe Biden's not your president. Donald Trump's not your president. He's the president of the states. Otherwise, he'd be called the president of the people, the president of the citizens, the president of the constituents, the president of the United States of American citizens. He's not. He's the president of the states. He's actually the president of the governors, if you really want to put it into context. And the president works with governors from a national standpoint more than anyone else, more than the SecDef, more than the Fed, more than any of the alphabet agencies, more than Department of Energy, Department of Ag. He works with governors more than anybody. In fact, during crisis and COVID, Donald Trump was talking to every single governor every single day because that's what he does. Domestically, he is responsible for the states. He's not your president. And when people can actually embrace this, then they understand that that's why the Electoral College is in place, because the states need equal representation based on population. It's the same thing. It's 13 different ways to get to the same conclusion. Districts and constituents are based upon the population. Those electorates are divided up amongst the states. That's it. Wyoming has equal representation based on its population as California. It has an electoral proportion the same as California based on its population. How can you get more fair than that? Well, people say, well, California has a bigger portion of the pie, so they should get a bigger say. They do. They get a bigger say in the state legislature. They have more House of Representatives than anyone else. Go ahead. So when we sit here and say that California needs more representation, they already have enough. They don't need any more. They have the most state legislatures who control the purse strings and create the law. They have the same amount of senators in order to check the state legislature. And every state has the same amount of governors to empower that the 10th Amendment and the state rights are preserved through the governorship and not by some dictatorial dictator who is sitting up in the White House. There's checks and balances in every form of government and every level. It works. But what he's saying is that the Democrats will ultimately absolve the Electoral College. And when they say you'll never vote again, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that your vote will never count. Now, your vote doesn't count now unless you're in a swing state. I just want to let you know. If you are a purple state, your vote counts for president. If you're in a swing state, your vote counts for president. If you're in California, your vote doesn't mean shit for president, but it does mean everything down ticket. Your county clerk, your district recorder, your sheriff, your freaking elected representative from the Senate and the state legislature. You have the power. And that's where the real change happens, folks. It doesn't happen at the federal level. It happens where your taxes are paid, how much your water is, how much your electric bill is, what your roads are like, what your schools are like, what lunches cost, what the taxation is in your neighborhoods, what your property tax is. These are the things that truly impact your life, not some guy sitting on a fucking ivory hill. So when he says that you'll never vote the same, it'll never be like this again, he's right. Because Democrats will ultimately impose something else, very similar to an autocracy. I believe what they will say is California is this way, and we will assign Democrat representation and change the way we vote. And they'll probably tie it to the census, which means that you will have Democrats representing you in California for 10 years. That's what I see the Democrats doing. Changing the way we vote and saying, because we're a Democrat state based on the census right now, they'll add political affiliation to the census. that you will have Democrat representation in your state for 10 years. It ensures them that they don't have to change. And being that a state census the state gets to decide what's on it and not based upon Supreme Court decisions. Can you imagine them saying, oh, well, let's go ahead and add something that's going to be conducive to creating more conservatives? No, they're going to fucking limit it to Democrat checkboxes. That's what I think he means. And can you imagine that? That's an autocracy. That's like assigning people from a monarchy based upon lineage to Charlemagne or to the crown. Wyoming can be Republican, but California has to stay this. New York has to stay this. And what you're doing is you're creating a situation where this gridlock that happens at the national level will then happen at the state level. And if that's the case, and we are going to create Washington, D.C. 50 times, civil war will take place. That's how you guarantee it, is by putting the states, not that they have equal power to the federal government, that the federal government dictates how the elections are run in the states. That is going to create a civil war before anything else. So I hope that answers your question.
Did you see Mel's last question?
I didn't. I've been gabbing.
All right. It might be easier for you to look it up because it was a few minutes ago.
Okay, hold on. Matt, will you please show? No, I will not. Mel?
No. Is it the Jamie Raskins one?
I think so, yeah.
Another donation, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll show that if you want me to. What is Matt's take on Jamie Raskin's last threat statement about what will be tried if DJT gets elected? Tell me, was it immediate impeachment? There's many things Raskin has said. Raskin, besides, getting sympathy for cancer, he's said a lot of shit. So help me, just tell me what it is, and I'll tell you yes or no. So,
just really quick, we're getting the storm that you guys just had. It sounds awful. So if I immediately just drop off, that's why. So
yes, you got it. You got it. You got it. Let's do a couple of videos, and then I'll answer that question. So this is something that should alarm everybody. I want Trump win. Ladies, I'm not going to lead you down the path to drink here. I'm going to just get your opinion. Folks, if you have not had the chance to donate to the show, we are 100% a show that relies on donations to stay here and continue to produce content for you. It's been a little slower tonight, so if you can help us out, we are trying to get to that 1,000 mark by the 10th. That's 3 days. We've got about $330, $360 to go. Reason being is because we got to keep pace. I mean, this is what the show costs. Plus, obviously to continue to pay the bills and things like that. So if you could help us out, we would appreciate it. Let me show you this video that Olivia is supposed to be watching, but leaving for. She has to pee. Yeah. Go ahead, Amy. You get to watch it first. Here it is.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. Have be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right?
Are you confident?
Thanks for taking my fucking hat off. Jeez, God, next time could. Jeez, whatever.
At least you got a kiss out of it.
About 26 inches lower, please.
Later.
So here's the thing. Does anyone? Hey, Liv, do you want us to play us because your bladder's the size of a freaking
yes.
a tangerine? Here,
yes.
Listen.
That there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025.
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. Have be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right?
God forbid that we have
golly.
checks and balances. All right, so what do you hear there, ladies? Let's break it
Bunch
down.
of mumbling.
No. What did you hear? Come on. Let's not insult. Let's just, what did he say and what's concerning?
No, you go ahead.
Oh my God, would you fucking go, somebody?
You go,
That-
Liam.
No, you
Oh my
go.
God, I'm gonna go. Fuck you both. So anyway. Go ahead.
This is why we can never do a show just by ourselves, because that's all it's
No,
gonna
I think
be.
you should do a show by yourselves. In fact, I've been wanting that more than anything, is for you guys to say one night, you know what? Let us just go on. We'll do it. This
You have
isn't
to have like
hard
planned
to,
topics though.
this
It'll
isn't,
end up being like makeup and mom.
this isn't
and
hard to
nuts
run.
stuff.
So what? So that's what they talk about. This isn't hard to run. This is a simple process. Sitting here and doing this is not hard. I could teach it to you in 5 minutes. All right. So let's go.
All right. I think he's saying that he's saying if Trump wins, it's absolutely not going to be a peaceful transfer of power. That he's already saying that. He's already planning it, and he's already putting it down that, no, it's not going to be that way. But then he said if Trump doesn't win, he said the same thing. So is he just, whoever wins, he doesn't plan on giving up the White House peacefully? I'm a little
question.
confused on that one right there.
It's a good question. Okay. Amy?
I just heard that it's going to be a fraudulent election regardless. And they're setting it up right now. Like, you're not going to be happy with the outcome no matter who you are. So it's going to be fraudulent somehow, some way. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I agree with everything y'all said. I think there was also something that was there that maybe we missed. Let's listen to it again. I want you to listen to it real close. And ignore the things you already said and listen for something else. Are you ready? Here it is.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. It'll have to be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right?
Are you?
It's almost like he's saying if he's telling people to riot if Trump loses or Trump wins. That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. So there's something else, but yeah, those are the main points. The main thing is that a president of the United States and soon to be hopefully former president, as we know he's not running, he will be former president, unless some tomfoolery takes place, just told you, and listen carefully to this last line, something that is what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. He says it, and he says it without any issue. I'm going to take away the video just so you can listen. Listen to this.
I feel like I'm on a
in
game
the local
show.
election districts.
What?
I feel like I'm on a game show.
Yeah, it's called Shut the Fuck Up. Here it is. So hold on.
We'll count the votes. They're putting people in place in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right?
Did you hear it?
Yeah, the vote. I mean, he needs people to count the votes. So they're going to be putting people in place to count the votes.
Stacey got it. Stacey got it. Listen, here's what Stacey said. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Let's put that in there again. Because, fuck. It's coming. Votes won't be counted right.
Correct.
He just told you what they're planning. All the nuance, all the bullshit. He just told you that they are putting people in place to ensure that the vote is counted correctly. Shouldn't that be his number one goal? As the current president of the United States, who's responsible for the peaceful transfer of power, shouldn't he oversee the process that overall enacts the peaceful transfer of power, which is the election process? He just said he does not want us to count and challenge the votes in any way, shape, or form. That is the most undemocratic thing I think I've ever heard from any sitting president in my life, which is saying that somehow it's stealing election when you ensure that the vote integrity is correct. Right. That worries me more than everything else. And it should worry everybody here.
And I think I really wanted, my parents are both poll people. Like they volunteer at the polls all the time. They're great dancers. Go tip them if you're in Florida.
I knew that's where I was going.
That's so good.
And I would like to, but I'm making excuses. I have young kids. We're always at the freaking sports fields or the school or whatever else. And I just don't want to add that on my plate right now. I just don't want to add it on my plate. I would like to do it at some point. But I think we need more Republicans out there to be at the polls, your local polls. I mean, there's local elections all the time. They do the classes, you learn it. And you meet great people doing it too. Like you meet like-minded people. It's a new friend circle. It's just a way to expand, your people. So I think we need more people to volunteer. So get out there and volunteer, take the classes and become a pole dancer locally.
I'll be honest with you, is that the problem with that is that in your district, if you're predominantly a Democrat district, they're not going to allow you to be in the process.
Right.
They will shut you down and they will find a reason not to allow you into the process. Republicans don't do that. Republicans don't like when Democrat challengers come in, but they tolerate them. Democrats won't even allow you in there. They'll put up boards. They'll remove you from the premises. They'll say that you have an American flag on your T-shirt, which is being political. They'll do whatever they can to have you removed from office. This is what you need to do. You need to go down to your local sheriff's office. And you need to have a sheriff stationed at the front door and at the polling place and ask your sheriff to have 2 officers there for voting day. And that will create a sense of something different. And like ours in Round Hill, they have the police there. There's a police presence when you go in, and they send a message of, you're going to fuck around, you're going to find out. And although Virginia is a pain in the ass, and although Virginia is heavily laced with elites, it has a very strong record of consistent polling that is very limited in fraud. And one of the reasons why is they have cops at the polling stations.
Carrie just said Michigan just put in a law that votes cannot be recounted.
See, and this is where we're at, right? This is where we're at. Is that this is how the Democrats can cheat. And when you can't validate the votes and you can't validate that a person's an American citizen, listen, they've told you what they're going to do. Listen, all this bullshit about stolen election. Folks, they changed the census so you couldn't ask a person if they're illegal or not. That's all you need to know. They made it unconstitutional before we switched that you cannot ask during the 2020 census if a person is an illegal immigrant. That should tell you all you need to know about what Democrats want, which they may not go ahead and impact. Listen, illegals don't get to vote in the presidential election, folks. I'm sorry. I hate to bring in your bubble. Fox News is full of shit. I've been involved in 3 major national campaigns, and I'm telling you right now that's not true. But what they can do is vote for state and local. And how they do that is they are counted against what California is why they gained 7 seats after the census is based upon their illegal population, which was censured or censed. I don't know what the past tense word of census would be. It's not censured. It's not censored. It's not.
I think it's just the census.
No, it's not a It's not a geese or it's not a geese or a moose. You can't say census.
It has my phone. Make me Google it, but I can't.
Census. Censed.
Censeed. Yeah.
Censeed? No. Come on, look it up. Are we looking it up?
I'm gonna look it up. I'm going to Google it though.
Past.
I guess a Supreme Court judge in Arizona just removed the protection of the 75-foot interference, the barrier for elections.
Oh, it doesn't prime me. Census with an ed.
Yeah.
No, it's not censused. It's censused.
It looks like censused. Looks like a Dr. Seuss term.
Yeah, censused sounds like you basically just got a handy in a freaking Filipino bathhouse. So you've been censused. Yep. So you've been censused. That's fine. So my point is that they get representation in the legislative bodies, which is huge. And the second thing is that a lot of illegals in California in certain districts get to vote for their local city council, vote for their sheriff, the county clerk. This is not good. So if you think that Democrats don't want illegals voting in national elections, you're insane. That's why they want to undo the electoral college. They want the 11 million votes. This is why they want to have felons vote. This is why they want to reduce the voting age to 16. They will tell you what they're going to do. Just listen to them. If they get the House and the Senate and the presidency, they will expand the courts, and then they will push through all unconstitutional law that they want. They will say that the voting age is 16. They will allow convicted felons to go ahead and vote who are on parole. They will go ahead and ban guns. They will do everything because of what happened with Roe v. Wade. They feel vindicated. This is where the Democrat Party is going. This is why Kamala is in place. This is their trump card. This is their hand that they've been trying to play, that they've been fucking checking the pot and throwing in the small blind and big blind and not betting it at all. They've been waiting. And they feel America is ready for their socialist progressive policy. And they're here. They've been trying to fucking do this for 70 fucking years, folks. Since the 1950s. 75 years they've been doing this Saul Alinsky communist playbook of the Russian oligarchy and bring it into the United States. And they failed through the media. They failed through Hollywood. So they took over what? They took over the learning institutions. And now they're doing it through our children. They've taken the colleges, they're taking the high schools, and now they're taking the K through 12.
Yep. It's 100% true.
There's nothing surprising about this. Sorry.
No, you're 100% right. And it's almost like I don't know who there was like a mastermind behind this, and I forget his name, but he is the one who started this in colleges. Who was like,
this is Saul Alinsky, this is Stalin Leninism, this is Maoism, this is Che Guevara, this is all of they're all synonymous.
But there was one man, and he was American, and he was like, let's implement this in the college. It doesn't matter. It's not. I was just saying that it's almost like, I don't forget his name, but he literally had the foresight to say, like, let's start this at this time frame, and then no one will have a memory of it because it was done so covertly. Like no one noticed.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
He put it into colleges and was like, let's just try it out and let's see if people adopt this. And it took off like a firestorm of like, let's just fuck with people's minds. And he didn't even believe in his principles. But it was
it's Saul Alinsky. It's Saul Alinsky. I'm telling you. That's Saul Alinsky's playbook is gaslighting people, distorting facts, playing on their emotions and fears. That's Saul Alinsky. And that's what Hillary Clinton wrote her thesis on. It's Saul Alinsky, honey.
Well, I don't know. I will have to look it up because maybe it is. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just remember learning about this a few years ago. It was an actual college professor who was like, let's start messing with people's minds and let's literally flip the nation by teaching a completely different practice and teaching different ways, like teach the opposite way to think of like how we actually think today and like do all the wokeness and starting it was implemented in the 70s. That's when they started. Okay. I mean, yeah. Like I said,
it might be somebody else. I mean, it could have been somebody else, but Saul Alinsky, and I'm sorry for calling you honey. My kid walked in and I call my son and daughter hun or honey. And that's why. And no, seriously, fuck that.
Wait, I'm not upset.
No, I don't care. I am, because you're not my honey. My honey is sitting in the middle. And so I apologize. It's a term of endearment, and my dad did it. I don't know why I went there all of a sudden, but I apologize. Your honey is Jason, and I have no right to call you honey. And it has nothing to do with feminism. Fuck feminism.
We have a different name for him. That sounded really bad. No, like
I had a comment. I left it alone. So Saul Alinsky is one of the biggest. Whiteford is also another one. There were a few others, but Saul Alinsky, pretty much every aspect of the Democrat playbook is Saul Alinsky. It's what the mainstream media follows. It's what Hillary Clinton followed. It is the progressive values, and everything else is Stalin, Leninist, Maoism, and that's it. But we'll find out who it is, because I know the name sounds.
It really didn't. It wasn't that important to what I was. My point was just basically saying that it was done so. it was quick, but also slowly enough that like our parents didn't recognize it fully. It was just like, oh, we need to be more open about things, which I believe some things were true. We should be more open-minded and accepting of a lot of things. But then it just kind of snowballed into this like, holy shit, we have to change our whole way of living and the normities of what we live in today. And I don't know. I'm always like back and forth of like, should we just adopt these principles because there are people like this, but then also why are other people like this? Because we keep allowing this to snowball. And I think it just kind of took us all by surprise. Like it's hard to remember a time when your family or like members, ancestors who weren't like, oh yeah, it was always a progression. It was always getting better. But I feel like lately
generational
like,
change.
Right.
But this was generational change. But Vietnam, I mean, 1970, the introduction of LSD and hallucinogenic drugs that had a big part to play in this, right? So people can sit here and pretend that drugs did not induce a lot of the volatility in the United States. But if anyone believes that, then simply look at what the 1920s did with alcohol. Okay, so people get a little fucking wacko when you have copious amounts of mass depressants. That's truly what it is. And the problem is interesting because most people who struggle with the government and struggle with financial issues and holding jobs and depression get into drugs, and it makes it worse because these are depressants. And so to sit here and say that LSD and marijuana and cocaine and heroin did not have an impact on the degradation of our country, it most certainly did. This is why the CIA used it for mind-altering drugs and interrogation techniques, is because it ultimately, in a long enough timeline, altered people's neurons and their neuron pathways to allow them to circumnavigate certain blocks and trainings and that intelligence assets and IC had. And they would use LSD to lower these faculties down in agents and ultimately reprogram them to no longer be able to resist certain techniques. And the Russians had it right? And so did the FBI. The FBI stopped physical abuse. They would use LSD to garner favor and give them 30, 60 days of not torture, but sleepless nights and not the right amount of food and holding back on nutrients, and then would come in with a ribeye steak, a baked potato, and a fucking Chianti and have LSD introduced and immediately start finding that, wow, these people are so kind and they're so loving. This is what they're doing with Kamala. They give you a complete fucking dipshit like Joe Biden who has nothing and can't even put two sentences together, and then they give you Kamala and she looks like a fucking genius because you've just had the village idiot running the village. Here's a video.
Hey, Amy, did you mean Richard David Wolf? Somebody said that.
I literally don't. No. I would have to look. It was years ago that I don't know. I'd have to like go and research it to find out. I don't remember his name at all. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you if it was or not. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, David Wolf was all about equity and hegemony and things to that effect, but was definitely a son of the Saul Alinsky playbook. But his influence was after 1970 to truly make an impact. So these are, once again, it doesn't matter which influencer you have in the United States. It could be David Brooks. You can just go on and on and on. These people ultimately were all based off Saul Alinsky. They were Maoists, Stalin-Leninists, and all of their belief systems comes from progressive socialism, which ultimately leads to communism. I want to watch this video. So this is an interesting take. Let's see what you guys think about this one. Great to have so many people on. Thank you. We've actually cleared 200 vastly. We've got a lot on YouTube. We've got a shit ton on Twitter. And Facebook is once again throttling us as they always do.
Rumble's doing well.
Rumble's doing well. So we've got at least 250. How are we doing on Wimkin?
Rumble is at 56.
Great.
Wimkin.
Nice to see. I think it's time to jump Facebook soon, because
2055.
Nice. So we've got quite a few on Wimkin. If this is the way Facebook is going to treat us, we'll just leave. And honestly, we'll go to Wimkin and I'll still post recorded shows on Facebook, but and we will still post live, but maybe what we do is we all come together and figure out what we need to do, because Facebook, these numbers are pathetic. I have 200,000 followers and I got 75 people on, but I'm on Twitter and I've got 5,000 followers and I've got 79 on. I've got 2,000 on Webkin and I've got 150 followers. This fucking algorithm needs to stop, but it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I love my people on Facebook. I just don't love the platform. Here is the video.
Well, we have to expect a
sorry, Amy, go ahead.
Well,
I'm trying to research at the same time. So I think it was from, I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to research as we're listening, but I think it's from the book called, I think it was from Remapping America.
Yep.
I don't know. I have to look. I'm going to dig into it again because I don't remember the person's name. It could be anybody that anyone mentioned, just saying. But I'll get the answer.
No, fine. Remapping America. Just several.
Just looking through all my books to read.
So if you take a look at Remapping America, there's been several different iterations of it. You'll have to take a look at it, but really where the remapping of America comes through is a New World Order and global populism, which is more of the Soros and Davos summit and things to that effect. Very different than Maoist philosophy or Saul Alinsky focus on gaslighting, media tactics to have people turn on their own country, to turn on their parents, to turn on their God, to turn on their values and their ideologies. But both are synonymous. And the New World Order has been around since 1972. This is like the Klan, folks. They're a bunch of rich elitists who have world populism on their mind. And they are about as popular as genital warts. Okay. Every fucking year, you guys come out and say, New World Order is instituting a command over. Nothing happens. And the reason why is because they're rich, they have money, but their sovereign countries do not want them involved in their politics. And remember, during COVID, you guys freaked out because Michelle Bachmann, who's about as relevant as a fucking doorstop, comes out again. The crazy zealot biatch who took hostage the Republican Party through the Tea Party, which was not the Ron Paul Tea Party, but the Koch brothers Tea Party, which was some of the most embarrassing times as a Republican. They said Sharia law was going to take over the United States. Give me a break. Never was going to happen. It's a complete lie, a fabrication of fear, just like the Democrats were doing. And Michelle Bachmann came out in 2020, I believe, and said the Davos summit has putting out new COVID restrictions on us where they're going to control the NIHD and the World Health Organization. Was all a lie. Never happened. Michelle Bachmann's doing what she always does. She's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry if you liked Michelle Bachmann. I hope she hears me and comes on the show so I can blast her a fucking part. Her and Paul Ryan and the other freaking neocon rhinos. Those people need to be out of our party. They never need to come back. I don't want any of them involved. They all can go to hell in a handbasket. They were the worst thing to happen to the Republican Party ever. Okay, great. Here is the final video.
Well, we have to expect a vicious, constant string of utterly dishonest hogwash attacks. The reality is that Trump, candidate Bone Spurs, who escaped his own service and then described avoiding sexually transmitted diseases as his personal Vietnam. This is someone who was in a glass house trying to throw stones through the wall. At the same time, Tim Walz served for 24 years, and then he was elected to Congress in 2006 and has been a champion for veterans and for the armed services. Vice President Harris worked with President Biden to pass the PACT Act, the biggest increase in support for veterans benefits in decades in our country. And we know Vice President Harris, when she was a prosecutor and then Attorney General and District Attorney, she put transnational criminals, gangs, human traffickers in jail. She has been a dynamite champion of safety, the same way Governor Walz funded law enforcement. He funded public safety and first responders and did that work even after Trump, during his administration, led to a huge spike in crime rates that has finally started to come down under Biden and Harris. So there's really a strong argument for safety for the Harris ticket and against Trump Vance that I think Trump and Vance are hoping to try to avoid by throwing these kinds of attacks.
All right. So I'm going to address this because it's military, but dipshits like this fucking guy on the right, anybody who wears clear glasses is a fucking communist. I'm just letting you know. They all shop at the same fucking place. They don't have insurance. They buy them at fucking like Rite Aid or something, and they get their glasses put in. Clear.
I'll
Bernie
let you
Sanders.
know.
Bernie Sanders, clear glasses. Elizabeth Warren, clear glasses. AOC, clear fucking glasses. They are all communist fuckers. So when you see, and checkered shirts, you don't wear a checkered fucking shirt on TV with a fucking solid tone gray jacket. That's not the way it looks. That right there, you look like a fat fucking guy who works at like Zaxby's or something. Give me a break. You're a douche plow. And second, goatees, you fucking fascist cocksucker. Goatees. Yes, goatees. Could you say anything more communist than a goatee? Give me a fucking break. All right. I'm sorry for the language. Nobody should be fucking hitting walls on his service. Unless you served, shut the fuck up. Okay? Unless you were in Iraq and Afghanistan, unless you were at Kabul airport, if you were in Bosnia Herzegovina, if you were in Mogadishu, okay, you have a right to say something. Otherwise, shut up. And if you're going to talk about J.D. Vance's service as a Marine, shut the fuck up too. Stay out of the military. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? He served for 25 years in the National fucking Guard, okay? Good for him. It's not disrespect. National Guard, some of the most amazing intelligence officials I've ever worked with were in the Guard. I have the utmost respect for the Guard. They didn't go active duty. Who gives a shit? They may not have deployed in wartime. That's not their role, unless there is an emergency to do so. I don't care. Walz was in for 25 years. Command Sergeant Major was given to him, and he did not complete the work necessary and was rolled back. Who cares? He still made it to Command Sergeant Major, which is an amazing accomplishment. You can attack this guy's policy. You can attack the way he looks. You can attack the things that he says. You can call him man pond because he is a man pond. You can call him a socialist Bernie Sanders because he is a progressive socialist Bernie Sanders. You can call him a riot lover who allowed his cities to burn down. What you don't get to do is question his fucking service. The guy was in a statement. I heard what he said. He was talking about weapons of war and AR-15s like all of the fucking lib labs do. And he said he carried it in war. Well, you know what? He didn't. But I am not going to go ahead and sum up 25 years of dedicated military service to a guy who said something stupid in a fucking Lions Club conference. Just like I'm not going to go ahead and dignify the things they're saying about J.D. Vance with sexually transmitted diseases and fucking on a couch. Okay? I'm just not going to do it. He's a Marine, J.D. Vance, and he deserves and he will always be a Marine. He's a brother in arms, and I respect that. Walz served our military proudly, and I don't give a shit about that. The only people who I don't like are the traitors like fucking General Miley and Colonel Vindman, that fat porky fuck, who also has clear glasses, the fucking commie. Those people like Blumenthal, who said they served in Vietnam, who should be stripped of being a Marine. That guy stole valor. And the other douchebags that sit there like RJ or whatever Jay Majewski in Ohio, who has run for Senate twice, who has stolen valor, and a douchebag who said he went to a fucking war zone. Those people deserve to be shamed and ridiculed. I don't care. I don't like Walz's fucking policy, but he served our country for 25 years. And unless you did the same, shut the fuck up. Okay? I don't care what Fox says. I don't care what fucking Jesse Waters says. I don't care what Judge Janine says, because those people are paid to read the fucking teleprompter. I'm telling you what I'm saying, and I'm a veteran. And Judge fucking Janine didn't serve her country, and neither did Jesse fucking Waters, and neither did Rachel fucking Maddow. So they can all go fuck themselves. I did. I have a right to say what I'm saying. And until you served and stood at post, shut the fuck up.
All right, mic drop. That's the end of the show. Just goodness.
1 minute, Amy, go ahead.
Can't follow it up.
I wish I took a mental picture of what shirt Jason wore today, because I think it was checkered with I think he wore a gray suit with a checkered blue shirt, I think, and he does wear clear glasses. So maybe I need to rethink my life choices.
Who was this? Who was this?
Jason.
Jason, you son of a bitch, you commie. He's infiltrated the show. Real quick, Frederick says, not to disrespect you of the show, Matt. And no, Tim Pool's great. There's nothing wrong with Tim. Tim Pool had some good info on the show today about fake book, shadow banning, and censorship today. Very interesting. Once again, no disrespect to your show. No, go watch Tim. We could throw a rock at him. I would love to be on Tim's show. I don't think he would like my language, but I get fired up when people go after veterans who don't deserve to be gone after. Okay, I know he was I know he had a DUI. I know this guy put fucking tampons in kids. I know he agrees with sexual transformation of children. I don't like the fucking guy, but I'm not going to attack his service. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do that, man. And if you think that he dodged Iraq, okay, 96, there he was in during times that it fired off in 91 and 90. Give me a break, okay? Let's stop pretending that this guy wasn't in during conflicts. He just didn't deploy, and National Guard wasn't called up in the first Desert Storm and Desert Shield. So let's just chill a little bit. If he deployed later, National Guard doesn't go overseas guaranteed, okay? That's just not the way it works, especially for the job and rate that he was doing. If he was intelligence, that's different. He wasn't. And anyone who sits there and says that J.D. Vance was a press guy, he went to fucking Iraq. I don't care if it was for 5 minutes or 5 months. He was there. So show some respect. He got a medal. Okay? Yeah. He got the medal. He served there. It's in his DD-214. If you don't think I've checked, I have. Go ahead, Amy. Finish up. I apologize for interrupting you.
Well, I can't really speak to Walz. I don't know much about him other than what he's done for Minnesota, which is just, it's been phenomenal, all the wonderful things he's done for that state. So I'm grateful for not living there. I just, it's going to get ugly now that we have like all the players out on the field. And I'm expecting a lot of drama. Especially given what's going on with the rest of the world. I think this is going to be probably the best election season.
Yeah.
For like news wise, and I'm not trying to make light of it, but there's just so much going on, and it's a lot of bad things that people want answers to. And tying it into the beginning of our show, there's a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. So I think just, remember that you're okay. You wake up every day, you have your family, you have your friends, you have your job, hopefully, and you have a house of, roof over your head. Like, I hope everyone has the basic needs they have in life, or need in life. And I'm, I hope that you have people that love you and that you love, and just remember that, because it is going to be crazy. I love the drama. Because I'm not involved in it. So I love to watch from the outside. I think it's awesome. And I look forward to like a great DNC. I think it's going to be some wonderful sound bites to take away from that. So I'm excited for that. And otherwise, I love seeing you guys. Liv and I can do a show for sure. Let's wait for the kids to go back to school though, because I'm sure maybe things will calm down. I think we're both like, we got to get like shit for school.
Things will totally calm down when they go to school. Sure.
Just before I get to Olivia's minute, I want people to understand. Walz has done nothing to harm the military. He doesn't have any policies that has completely harmed the military. His records will come out. His voting record will come out, and we're going to scrutinize it and give you the information. But the 125th Battalion of the National Guard wasn't deployed until 2 months after he retired. You don't know what you're talking about. He retired 2 months before. He was an open critic of Bush's policies and the war in Iraq. Was absolutely a critic. Horribly a critic. Did not agree with it at all. Now, you could call him whatever you want for that. That's fine. But July 14th, 2005 wasn't the hottest time zone in America. Why? Because I was serving. And I was responsible for what was going on during that time. And I was going through C schools, and I was deployed during that time. And I was involved in running intelligence apparatus for the Middle Eastern theater. So I know what was hot and what was not in July 14th, 2005, because I was in. Check my DD-214 if you don't believe me. And no, I wasn't carrying a weapon of war at that time. But I will tell you that the 125th Battalion was not activated until 2 months after he left. He then decided immediately to run for office. He resigned his service. He didn't resign his commission because he was NCO. So he respectfully requested to end his service, left the military, and immediately ran for office. So whether you think that service is honorable to serve your country as a politician, it doesn't matter. He went from one service to his country to another. No matter how shittily his command liked him or didn't like him, he served. And we have to trust in the military process that evals will root out shitbags, because it does most of the time. And if he was a true shitbag, he wouldn't get a command sergeant major accolade and responsibility. You don't get commands if you're a shitbag. So, does that mean I love him? No. But I'm not going to sit here and trounce a man's service because Fox News and J.D. Vance decide to do that. And I don't like that they're fucking hitting J.D. Vance's service too. I don't care if he's one and done. I was essentially one and done after my accident, and then I went and served in the government in a CS position or a GS position as a civilian contractor. So am I a shitbag? Just because I didn't do a full 20? So let's slow down. I'm not mad at anybody on this show. I'm mad at the narrative of attacking service of veterans as a political fucking ploy. I think it's cheap. I think it's wrong. And you do it when it's necessary, not as a talking point. You leave J.D. Vance's service alone. He served our country honorably, and so did Walz. I don't like Walz. It has nothing to do with his service. He's a brother in arms. Leave him the fuck alone until there's something to worry about. When this guy starts claiming medals or starts saying that he was Swift Boat or starts saying that he was in Hanoi and didn't say a word, but he rolled over on America like fucking John McCain did, then I'm going to go ahead and speak out. But I'm not going to go ahead and speak out because he's a progressive socialist. I'm going to attack him because he's a progressive socialist. All right, Liv, your minute.
I appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate the donations. Thank you very much. That's it.
Yeah, Corey Bush. I'll get that tomorrow. I'm just reading last comments. Was there anything else, Libby?
No. Nada.
Yeah.
I'm reading. Hold on.
That's okay. I'll text you guys later.
Okay.
I have to ask off for a couple days.
It's fine. Bonnie says, so that statement is pretty foolish. The reason I'm just disgusted with him is this. If let's say a fireman trains to put out fires for years and years, and then there's a fire to put out and he bails and leaves the rest to put out the fire, is he really a fireman? He's still a fireman. And he didn't bail on command orders. He had no command orders, Bonnie. So what you're saying is he could never leave until he was deployed? That's a foolish statement. 25 years he never deployed. And it wasn't because he wasn't assigned to deploy. It's that he was never called up. 125th wasn't deployed in that facet for artillery. It just wasn't called up in that facet. The mechanized divisions were changing during the Gulf because instead of using rolling mechanized infantry, they used tanks and they used M1 Abrams because they were able to manipulate the desert sand. You couldn't get that from the current artillery that was being used at that time. So they used fixed artillery, a completely different than mobile artillery. Once again, you're disgusted because you're being told to be disgusted. He left 2 months after. So what you're saying is no matter when he retired or when he left after 25 years, which is 5 years past retirement, he had no right to leave ever unless he was deployed. And then when he got back, he would be able to leave. That's foolish. That's foolish.
I have a question about this because I have a couple of personal friends that are in the National Guard. I've never really talked to them that much about it, to be honest. Just it doesn't come up in conversation, but I feel like they do a lot. Like they're gone all the time. And most of them have never been like called to deployment. They've done like local deployments for things in DC and whatnot because we're so close. But I feel like that's their job. Like that's their job. Like I don't know anything about it. Again, I have friends who literally serve in it. And they're gone 2 weeks a month, and they do like several weeks a year, and they go to the boot camp, they do all the stuff. So I don't know. I don't know a ton about it, but I feel like, and some of them are actually retired full service military. Like I guess like they're in the Army or Navy.
I don't understand what you're asking.
I guess I'm just asking, like, what's the difference between that and like being in like the Navy, the Army,
because
Marines,
you're active duty. Full active duty and reserves and National Guard, two different things. Reserves are a commitment that you have where you go to 1 week at a month to drill and train, and then 3 weeks out of the year you go and go to your base or designated training. And if you are called up and your unit is deployed, you go. National Guard is predominantly people who did serve or people who served National Guard, have very similar to reserves, but they're dedicated to the state and the governor and can be called up in time of war based upon executive order from the president, but still serve overseas, still deploy in intel capacity, pilot capacity, everything else. But most of it is more civil and more state than it would be overseas at war. So when somebody, and I'm going to address these questions because I can't fucking believe you people. Candace, you're leaving. Go fuck yourself, Candace. Candace, I'm glad you're leaving. Good. Get the fuck off my show.
Wait, who's leaving?
Give me a break. Tampon Tim putting tampons in boy rooms. Done with you morons. Nobody fucking encouraged that. I've been hammering him on all these things. I just said don't go after his military service unless you know what you're fucking talking about. You fucking Karen. Fuck you. Leave, you quitter. I don't want you on my show. There's no reason for you to be here because all you want to do is spoon-fed your bullshit. See ya. It's not a fucking airport. Liv, if you want off, jump off. I'm not leaving. He said he carried a weapon into conflict. That's not what he said. He made a stupid comment, and I'm not going to defend it. And it should be scrutinized, and he should be called out for it. But Stolen Valor is saying, I was at Hamburger Hill. I was at Pork Chop Hill. I saved 72 people's lives, and I got the Purple fucking Heart and the Medal of Valor when you didn't. That's Stolen Valor. I was a SEAL. I did something that I never did. I am exaggerating about my record for political gain, for monetary gain, for whatever it would be, for that type of gain. Saying that he carried those weapons of war into war is an absolute stupid comment, and it deserves to be ridiculed. But it doesn't make you question 25 years of service if in 25 years that is the only thing he did wrong. I don't expect this opinion to be popular. What I expect is for people to debate it and have a conversation and present your ideas and your thought process. That's what Kat did. What the other fucking Karen did was take her football and go home because got her vagina hurt. Wipe it off and get back in the game. But I'm done with you losers. Lady, you're the fucking loser. You don't know anything about the military. You don't know shit about service. Weapons of war like rakes and hoes. You know my point. Chris, I agree with you. An AR-15 isn't a weapon of war. In fact, it's a shitty weapon of war, and you're going to get your ass kicked if you use it. Matt, not questioning his service, just questioning his exit strategy. Why? Why can't he retire? Why can't he resign? He wasn't happy with the service. Let me ask you a question. You guys remember that Marine who went ahead and retired after Biden? Did you guys say the same thing about him? That officer? No, we raised what? $1.7 million for him? Did you guys question him when he said, I don't agree with Bagram, I don't agree with Afghanistan, and resigned his commission and left the Marine Corps? Don't you remember that? You guys loved him. Why did you love him and why do you hate Walz? Because he left the same way. And he didn't make a stink about it. He did not break the Uniform Code of Military Justice. He did not break the chain of command. He did not defy a standing order. He simply said, I'm resigning. After 25 years, I'm leaving, which he has a right to do after 20. The military has a right to completely cut his service at any time after his 20. And he has a right to stop serving after 20 because he officially is extended his service past the retirement times. You guys are making me defend him now. I don't like this fucking guy, but what I don't like is people trashing.
Love him.
Yeah, right. I love
Leroy was here because I feel like y'all could have like a better, more intelligent conversation than. Obviously, I don't know anything. I've never served.
Love the show. Someone was saying that Waltz said he carried a weapon in combat. That bothers me. You know what? Let's listen to it. Liv, if you got to go, you got to go. But I'm not leaving during this situation. I got to stay. Got to stay. This is one of the times you got to stay. Here it is. Completely disagree with everything he says here, including the stupid comment about war. Now, he didn't say I was shooting commies in Vietnam. That's not because he wouldn't, because he loves commies. Let's find it. Oh, somebody sent it to me in chat. Oh, I got a call. I think it's Mel. Hi, caller. What do you want to talk about?
Hi, Mel. Oh, hi, Mel. It's me.
Hi, Mel.
Anyway.
Hi, Mel. Mel, it's Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi, Mel. What's
I'm
up?
talking to myself again. Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
talking to my dog. Anyways,
I love you.
It was confusing listening or reading and listening to all the things that were going on about Mr. Walz himself about his contract. And my comment was, yes, he signed a contract after his time. And I've done that extended contracts. Everybody else in the military, you get extended contracts, whatever. But when you sign the contract, what are the, I don't know the wherewithal of the U.S. escape clauses of how to get out of it. So if you sign for an extended 1 year, 2 years, or whatever, what is your escape clause? Because after you serve a certain time, you're automatic. Well, here we're automatically entitled to a pension, and you can sign on for an extended period of time. But it's the escape clause is the one that I'm not too sure about. And reading several articles in the last day and a bit, whatever, he signed on for an extra 4 years or whatever, and then decided to opt out. So I'm not sure, and that's why my comment was, I'm not sure about the opt-out clauses. Yes, he did his time. He did his service, whether he deployed to wherever or whatever, is immaterial. That's a moot point. That's not even a show starter. It was the escape clause and then reading about his group or his National Guard, whatever, they got the warning orders or whatever, and then 2 months or whatever into it, he decided to pull the pin, saying he was going to run for Congress when there's a thing that he doesn't have to get out or whatever to do service while and run for Congress at the same time. There's that apparent clause that you guys have that this can happen coincidentally with service or whatever. So when he gets back or whatever, his campaign or whatever is still going on. I just kind of got that weird, being this military old person, whatever, going, yeah, it sounded like it was just, I don't want to go over and play in the sandbox. And that's
but why? Wait a second. Stop. Why does it sound like that? Why does it sound like he doesn't want to go over and play in the sandbox?
Well, because he was leading these people for X number or whatever. They got a warning order 2 or 3 months before they were supposed to deploy.
Wait a second. When did you hear about this? Wait, when was this? What was this warning order, and by whom?
Well, and that's all I'm saying is I'm just going off of what I've read in the last 48 hours about all of this service stuff.
Okay.
And the people from his National Guard unit going, and they're all pissed. And it was, they got the warning order for his unit to go over, and he was he wasn't the command sergeant major or whatever, and he had to do courses, and I read about that too, and he had to do all kinds of sorts of things to get that rank, but he wasn't quite there. It was an appointment.
No, and we talked about that last night, Mel. We talked about how you can have a command position interim, and it happens I know. Let me finish. Yeah, and you can have, I'm interrupting you because this is important context. You can have an interim position in the military and have a command without being qualified for that command. However, if you do not fulfill the necessary requirements and do the overall things that are requested in order to go from E8 to E9, but he was interim E9. He was a command sergeant major. He did not retire as a command sergeant major. Once again, nuance. Once again, issues. I understand. But what this doesn't allow is for people to go ahead and condemn the man as a fucking liar when everything he says pans out. Now, if people don't like him, that's a whole nother. I know a lot of people in the military I don't like, but what I'm not going to do is trash their service. It's just not going to happen.
No.
Go ahead.
No. And that's exactly what the point I was kind of trying to make was, yes, I understand about because we do that up here too. We we call them acting lacking. You don't have the coursing or whatever, but you're now put in that position because yeah, we need you here now at this time, and we know that you're going to do all of this afterward. Like, yeah, we call it acting lacking, and it is. You have so many years, and here we have 2 years to make the qual to get to hold that rank and whatever and the pay grade. So you have 2 years to complete the training. I agree that, but I just when I read the part about he could have gone and deployed with his unit to Iraq and still have run for Congress, and with 2 months to go before his unit was to go overseas, he pulled a pin saying, I'm retiring because I'm running for Congress, which to me was the bit of misnomer that I went, well, there's an allowance for that in your military and your whatever for people who are serving, who want to run for government to do this kind of thing. So that's where I kind of fall off the rails with saying that this guy is, yes, he's a veteran and blah, whatever, but I, as a veteran, and you too as well, I think I would take affront going, you could have gone and then come back 6 months later or whatever and still been running for Congress without having to pull the pin and leaving your troops with
since
2 months to go to
since
go
when
to
do
the field.
since when do deployment orders have expiration dates, Mel?
Well, no, they don't. But I'm just saying, to me,
So why are you saying 6 months? But that's disingenuous to say. Okay, now my turn. This guy served 25 years. Do you believe that if at any time in that time that he was asked to deploy that he wouldn't? Is there anything that would lead you to believe that this guy was a coward?
Well, no, I can't say that because...
Okay, then we can't say that he did it. Then we can't say that he let... Listen, this guy served 25 fucking years. I have commanders and I have commanding officers that I would throw under the bus in a New York fucking minute who I hated. That's not what we're talking about. This guy could have been the biggest Magoo dickhead in the military and they hated him. And I'm fine with that. And that's okay. You can say that. But if you're not in the military, you know what you're fucking talking about, you should shut up. That's my point. I'm going to listen to this video. I want you to listen to it as well. And then we're going to put this to bed. I can't believe, but this is what happens. Because I believe in truth and I believe in accuracy. And a lot of this is guesswork and supposition. I heard this, therefore it's true. This is the fact. This is what he said. Listen to it and you tell me. Yeah, we know he's commie. We know he's a commie. I've already called him a commie 100 fucking times. That has nothing to do with his service. Listen to what I am saying. I don't give a fuck about, I know he's a commie. I know he's a socialist. I know he's a progressive. This guy is worse for the country. I've already said that. What I'm not going to do is question this guy's service when he served for 25 years honorably and he left with an honorable discharge. If he demonstrated failure to deploy, he would have left with a dishonorable discharge. The U.S. government did not give him a dishonorable discharge. He has no caveat on his jacket that said failed to deploy, refused to deploy. He did not show up as AWOL to his service. He separated and resigned from the military after 25 years of service to follow being a senator. Now, whether you agree with that or disagree with that, his unit did not ship until 2 months after. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. Mel, let's listen to this. Hold on. Mel, we're listening to this. Hold on.
Hope woke up like many of you did 5 weeks ago and said, Dad, you're the only person I know who's in elected office. You need to stop what's happening with this. I'll take my kick in the butt for the NRA. I spent 25 years in the Army and I hunt. And I gave the money back, and I'll tell you what I have been doing. I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Once again, stupid fucking comment. Thomas Griffith, not yours, but Thomas Griffith says, Matt, there are many that are in there for the pay and self-injure themselves to get out of this shit. You would be surprised. Why would I be surprised? I served. Well, Thomas, do you have any proof that he injured himself not to ship? Do you have any proof that he was a coward and unfit for service by his unit or command infrastructure that said that this guy refused to deploy? Do you have any information whatsoever that demonstrates and proves that he left because of deployment? Do you have any proof or evidence of a command order that was a notification of deployment before he shipped? Because I would love to see it. Once again, unless we have the facts, it's very hard for you to go into a man's life who you don't have his service jacket, you weren't there, you have anecdotal evidence that's usually from opposition news media, and we have no idea. If that is true, then J.D. Vance also is all the things that he said. A person who was afraid of war, who went into media-based reporting and public PO roles in order to avoid war. Do you believe that? No, because you don't know, you weren't there, and you didn't serve with J.D. Vance. So the same distinctions you're giving J.D. is what I'm asking you to do for Walz. And even though we don't fucking like the douche plow. Go ahead, Mel. Wrap it up.
No, exactly. It was just the question of his contract and how you get out of contracts, because we deal with the same thing. Like, if you sign on a contract, what are the opt-out whatevers? Can you, like, and that was my biggest question was, yes, after you serve whatever and you sign on for extra whatever, there are opt-out clauses. I don't know what the opt-out clauses that you guys have to whatever. And to me, his whole whatever, other than the fact that he used what they're saying on the things that I've read from his division, whatever, was that he was running for Congress and he wanted to opt out. And that was where my question was, there are provisions in the Congress that if serving members are being deployed, they still can run for political offices. And that was probably, that's my biggest point was it that reason or like whatever? His service is impeccable, like whatever, like it's all like I have no issue with any of that. It was just the clauses of how he did it, not so much his service. Like it was his service, he got out with honorable discharge, outstanding. Like that's what everybody attains.
You gotta
like,
go.
We don't want to be poor after whatever we call it, or what you guys call it, like thrown out or whatever, and no pensions and whatever.
Yeah.
It was just a statement about his contract and how he got out of like whatever after he had signed on and then didn't fulfill his and that's the part I didn't understand and about how your military worked compared to mine.
Yeah.
And that was
listen,
my biggest
I understand
question.
what you're saying. What my point is we don't know. Because we were not in the room. Listen, and then this is what I'm talking about. This is the shit I'm talking about. I can't have a normal. Ronnie, you've been a listener for how fucking long? You believe I'm defending a communist? Is that what you just said to me? You just fucking said that I'm defending a communist. Are you sure that's the statement that you're gonna want between you and I when we turn this show off? Is that what you want to say to me? I want to make sure that I understand what you're saying. You're claiming that I'm defending a communist. That's those are the words that you want to put in, Mel. Just hold on. I'm sorry.
Sure.
That's what you want. Would you say that to my face to me right now? I've known you. I don't even know you, but I've had conversations with you. I respect your opinion. I respect you as a fellow brother in arms. And you're going to look me in the fucking eye and say that I support communism? I don't know who the fuck you think you are. I don't know why you would allow someone like that who is a piece of shit to come through whatever relationship we have on this show. I have no idea why you would ever, as a fellow brother in arms and someone who has mutual respect for each other, would ever say that shit to me. Don't defend shit a commie did. Fuck him and let him catch all the shit he gets. Better than the painful death he deserves. KACFM, and I'm not even going to repeat it. So even if it's wrong, even if it's not true, fuck him. Yeah, this is the wrong show, bro. You haven't learned shit from watching my show. I want to hold him accountable for putting tampons in little boys' restrooms. I want to hold him accountable for his ungodly spending. I want to hold him accountable for late-term abortions. I want to hold him accountable for his Maoist fucking principles. I want to hold him accountable for being a declared communist, socialist, progressive. I want to hold him accountable for his voting record. I want to hold him accountable for the deregulation that he didn't do and promised when he ran on his campaign. I want to talk about his fucking support for fracking and for oil and for energy, and then turning it over once he gets elected. I want to talk about those things. What I don't want to talk about is some made up bullshit because somebody decided to go ahead and peep this guy's military history and make a bunch of assumptions about it. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. And I think it's a bullshit tactic on JD Vance. And I think it's a horrible fucking tactic on any veteran who served until we know the truth. And until we do, it's lies. Until we have fact, it's lies. And I would never let anyone disparage a veteran, ever. I don't care who that veteran is, ever. Whether he's a socialist or not, I don't give a fuck. Because his service precluded his political beliefs. And maybe what he said was, my political beliefs will no longer allow me to serve my country. And it happens. We saw a Marine do it during Afghanistan debacle, and he refused to serve Joe Biden because they felt that they were covering up what they absolutely knew is the Taliban would surrender the Afghan government would surrender to the Taliban the moment that firing started, and left the military and got a dishonorable discharge. Don't you remember this guy? We all stood up to him because he agreed with what we said. We defended him. We stood in line and said he's a Marine, and we made videos and we gave him money. But because this guy's on the other end of it and he says, I'm leaving because of my political issues with George Bush, all of a sudden he's a fucking traitor? Yeah, man, I don't know if those are the last words you want to say to me on this show.
Yeah, no.
I think those are fucked up words to say to me on this show. Mel, why don't you put us to bed here? Because I'm not fired up. I'm not pissed. I just don't understand why we believe that we can assume things about somebody without having all the facts, and why we are such hypocrites.
Yes, facts matter, and that's why I asked my weird little questions during the whatever, because I don't understand the whole American military system, like how your contracts and your terms of service totally work. So my questions were more like fact finding for me, like to understand. He did 24 years exemplary service with no whatever. I have, like, that is not stolen valor. That's not whatever. His comments about using his war weapons or whatever for his gun, whatever, that's a moot
stupid.
Point.
It's stupid is what it is.
He did serve the country. He did do his due diligence, whatever. I just was questioning how the contracting and how he got out of certain whatever. I don't agree with his policy or like whatever.
No way.
Don't agree with the little shit. But I still will respect his service, like as I do with anybody else who's done 20 plus years in the service in any country without any charges or blah whatever to dismember or there's another word, but I can't think of it right now. Anyways, their service, like they have exemplary service, and you can't take that away from them.
Discredit their service is what you were looking for, I think, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You can't take that away from them. They did for God, country, and Queen, or God, President, and like whatever.
Yeah.
No, you can't take that away, and that's wrong to try to trash that part. It's just there was my weird questions because I don't understand the difference between how.
No, Mel, your advice and your counsel is always appreciated, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. In fact, I think it should be scrutinized why he left. And I think a real honest person would say, I was an older man. I had a 4-year-old daughter, and I decided to leave because I didn't believe in the war. I left. And if you want to call me a coward after serving for 24 years, then that's your choice. But here's the truth. Good, fine. I don't care. I know a lot of people who went in for the college fund and didn't want to go to war. I didn't want to go to war.
Yeah. Nobody wants to go to war.
Nobody wants to go, but it's
No.
fine. But to sit here and assume what was in his head, because Jesse Waters and Judge Janine are telling you exactly what Rachel Maddow and others are telling you about J.D. Vance, I think it's very hypocritical for us to not have higher standards than the liberals. Because they are the lowest of the fucking low. If we can't have common decency and wait for the facts, who are we? So if Donald Trump was sitting right here with J.D. Vance and sitting here with all the bigwigs, and I'm sitting across from them, and they're looking at me and they're going, dude, what you're saying, you're defending a communist. I would say, no, I am giving you the facts, and you want me to say what you want me to say, which is totalitarianism, and you're censoring my speech because I'm not defending the guy. I am simply explaining to you that you don't know what was in his heart at the time, and it could be very well explained. Let me give you an example quickly. I was supposed to get out in March. But the school semester was going to start in December, and this is in 1999. I already had medical SEP ready to go for March. I was in Tokyo, Yokohama, Yokosuka, and I was on medical at the point, and I was actually attached to the medical hospital at the time during my service because I could no longer serve based upon my injuries. And I was supposed to go in March, but the new semester was starting in whenever school and it like stops for Thanksgiving, and then it stops in December. So I think it was September, whatever. The point is I upped my separation by like 4 months, and I put it in command shit, and I asked to be separated early in 1999, 2000, instead of 2000 in March, to go ahead and get out, I believe in September or November, wherever it was, so I could qualify for the start of the new year. That's what it was. It was December, so I could qualify for the start of the new semester and start school. That's what I wanted to do. Well, guess what happened right after that, about a year? What was it? Do you remember? Kind of something with the Twin Towers happened.
Yeah. There's some things were falling down. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me explain. So that would be like someone coming here and saying the reason why you went ahead and asked for an early SEP when you were already medically separated and you were just waiting TDY into Bremerton, Washington, and to go ahead and get your orders. You were early SEP to go to college and got approved with a waiver to do that, and still got your full active duty time frame of 5 years. You did that in order to bail on 9/11 because you knew you were going to go to war, and you knew the rumblings, and you knew the tensions were high. So you got out so you didn't have to go to war. That's exactly what that's exactly what you're doing to this guy. You're doing the same thing, and you're assuming something that you have no fucking clue about, when it was simply, I was already TDY. I was waiting on my medical SEP orders. I knew when I was getting out, and I didn't want to miss a full semester of college, so I could take advantage of that and get in for the third quarter and fourth quarter and start my freshman year. That's what I wanted to do. Plus, it was Christmas time too, and I was going home for Christmas anyway.
Yeah,
so why not just...
And that's...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's what the civilian population does not understand about how the military works. And that's why I was asking my weird questions, because I am military and still working with the military, whatever, and understand that there's other things that go on in the background for medical releases, all kinds of releases. It doesn't matter what it is. And I understand, I understand from my Canadian flag, whatever, but I don't understand all the nuances in yours. And that's why I was asking those little weird questions. It was not a derogatory thing.
I know, Mel, you know that. I don't think that. Why do you think I think that? I know what you were doing.
Well, no, because the conversations in the whatever, they don't understand that. You understand what we're kind of talking about, but
I do.
My question,
I do.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like, dude, crucify this motherfucker. Crucify him. But crucify him on the things of the benediction, okay? Crucify him on the actual acts that he needs to be crucified for. We don't need to, this is the problem I have with Joe Biden. This is the problem I have with Donald Trump. You don't need to make this stuff up. They've done enough for you to go ahead and hit them on the things that they've done. You don't need to make it up. Hillary Clinton, you don't need to make up shit that she's a lizard cabal person who eats child and drinks fucking androcron blood. You don't need to make that up because the shit that she's done is worse than that. The same thing goes for Biden. Trump fucking banned bump stocks. Trump has said shit that's anti-Second Amendment. We don't support tariffs as Republicans. Trump's made some decisions with the vaccine that we can hold out on. I don't agree with him on the stolen election, and I don't agree with him on defending J6, the people who were actually violent. The people who weren't, get them out of there. Release them. Get them out there. Commute their fucking sentences and let them out of jail. The people who were there to commit violence, let them fucking rot.
Exactly.
I don't need to make shit up and call Donald Trump Captain Bone Spurs when we were literally stopping people from joining in the 90s and the 2000s because of flat feet and high arches. I had to get a fucking waiver for my arches to join the military. That is how many people were joining. We didn't have a recruitment problem, and we were so selective. We were sending people away for shit reasons. Okay? Shit reasons.
Well, and we did here up here. So it's the same across both borders. And that's why I enjoy like talking to you, because I can reaffirm some of the weird, like whatever, because I have a network up military, whatever, but I want to understand more about your side of the world, because having dealt with them for so long and not knowing the finer details about how your whole system works. I've been delving into your books and stuff and whatever over the years, whatever, now that I've kind of been semi-retired, but not really semi-retired, just to get more knowledge, because it's so different about how you get to stay in, like all the contracts. Yeah. Everybody's
it's completely different. So it's completely different. And now, now with TDY,
the civilian population.
Yes. I'm sorry.
The civilian population on the website, on your site, 99.9% don't understand the finer workings of how the military actually works, which is great, because they're very inquisitive or whatever, and they can get kind of very defensive and whatever, going whatever, but they've learned so much in the last 5+ years that you've been on, and little tidbits with Leroy and you giving them insight of how this works, because it's very important, because it's a total part of how your government works too, how the inner workings work. And if they don't understand the basics about the minuscule military, which that's what I call ourselves back up here, it's like, we're kind of irrelevant, but we're keeping your ass kind of out of the whatever. They don't understand the underpinnings of how it works.
Mel, let me interrupt you here. Let me interrupt you. Sorry. I got to interrupt you because I love you to death, but sometimes we beat I do it too. We beat the bush too long. and you and I are friends, and I love you and adore you, and you're like one of my most coveted fans. But we beat the bush too long. So I'm just going to try to wrap it up. Yeah. I don't care that people question this guy. I want you to question. I want you to dive into his record. I want you to look. And if tomorrow it comes out that this guy served dishonorably, I'm going to fucking crucify him. If this guy comes out and multiple times claimed medals or claimed campaign service medals or altered his resume, I'm going to fucking crucify the guy. But that's because I have facts. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to juxtaposition about his overall service record until there's something. And I'm going to take it just like I do with everything else that the media puts out, is it is just a witch hunt to fucking crucify him in the public eye. The guy is a socialist progressive. His policies stand alone. We don't need to go after his military service until there's something to go after. And if you're going to tell me that when you're in command that you can't find hundreds of people who absolutely hated your fucking ass, then you've never been in leadership. Because I can tell you there's people who absolutely loved me in the retail world who will tell you I'm the greatest boss they've ever had and swear by me like I'm the Messiah. And there's other people who called me Adolf fucking Hitler. In the military too.
Oh my God.
So guess what?
do.
It doesn't matter. Leadership, this is the way leadership is. Let's hear what his policies are. And he's a piece of shit. I don't like the fucking guy. I think he's a douche plow. But I'm not going to go after his military record. Just like I'm not going to go after him as a father. I'm not going to go after him as a husband. I'm not going to go after him if he fucking donates to the PTA or plays Little League Baseball. The guy was a football coach. The guy was a teacher. The guy served his country. The guy served in Congress. Listen, the last thing I'm going to say is one of my favorite people on the planet in Washington. You want to know who I think one of the most honorable people are in Washington? Mel, you'll never guess. Try to guess. Who is the person I respect the most in Washington for someone who is honest? Current senator or state legislature? I'll give you $1,000 if you guess it, Mel. You only get one guess. She's thinking,
okay,
folks. She's thinking.
Tom Cotton.
Tom Cotton. You know what? I really like Tom Cotton. Can I be honest? It's Bernie Sanders.
Oh, and you're not wrong with that, because Bernie's been honest the whole time through.
He's been a commie since he fucking got there, and I think he is a degenerative piece of shit, but he's an honest degenerative piece of shit.
Exactly.
That's
He's
the
been
truth.
honest the whole way through.
He's the most honest guy in Washington. He has never pretended not to fucking honeymoon in China, Russia. He has never pretended that he's not a fucking Saul Alinsky and a Stalin Leninist. I fucking despise his policies. I can't fucking stand to look at the guy because he is absolutely antithetical to everything that America should be. But at least he's honest and he doesn't lie.
Exactly. He's honest. And you're 1,000%.
And you know, watch this. Watch the people who get pissed at me. Guess what? Hey guys, Donald Trump said the same fucking thing.
He did.
So, and I said it before Trump. I got to at least back up that Bernie Sanders is at least honest. He's the most honest politician in Washington because he never lies. He tells you exactly what he's going to do. Yes, we're going to spend 70%. Yes, we're going to go ahead and raise your taxes. Yes, we're going to do that. And why is that a bad thing? Yes, we're going to go ahead and free insurance for everybody. Yes, we're going to go ahead. At least he tells you the truth.
And that's why DJT in that last battle with Hillary, Donald went, Hillary,
you did him wrong.
Bernie got ripped.
Yep.
Bernie got ripped.
Bernie got ripped and you did him wrong. And you know what? I kind of like Bernie. At least he's honest. At least he tells you what he's going to do. It's the truth.
Exactly.
If every politician was like that, can you imagine what we would have? But I can't stand Bernie Sanders, but at least he doesn't hide. At least he doesn't pretend. That is my point, folks. It has nothing to do with Walz's policy. It has to do with you're not going to dishonor a man who served honorably. I will not let you do it in my presence until I know the truth. And if tomorrow he comes out and something drops and he fucking was involved in tail hook somehow, then I will. You're not going to sit here and go, Matt, we told you. No, you didn't. You didn't tell me shit. You told me he got out because he was scared. He was a fucking coward. And that is not, you have no proof. You have no proof of that. All right.
1,000%.
Good show, Mel. I love it.
Cheers. I love it. I love you guys. Thanks.
See you, buddy. All right, folks. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. This is what we do. This is what we do. I don't respect Bernie Sanders. I said he's honest. There's a difference. He doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. Hit Tampon Tim with the things that Tampon Tim has done. There are plenty of bad things. We don't need to make shit up. We don't need to go ahead and go after somebody's service and say it's stolen valor because he said some stupid shit out of me. Now, if 40 other videos come out where he's claimed to be, okay, that's a completely different story. Completely different. But I have defended people for stolen valor, and it's not, and I have went after people and crucified them. Majewski, a Republican, is one of them. One of Trump's nominees, the 17 that lost in 2020. Majewski, in 2022, I went after him and crucified that fucking guy. And he was a Republican. And I defended the Marine that left Joe Biden's service because he said he couldn't serve under him because he felt that he was lying about intelligence and that he had information that showed that Joe Biden was lying. And he left and they court-martialed him for it. I defended him. Folks, this is what you can't get your arms wrapped around and your mind wrapped around about me is I'm not loyal to anyone. I am loyal to the truth. I am loyal to facts. I don't give a shit. If you wrong me, unless it's true, and I'm not going to say anything. There are people in this business who have wronged me. But honestly, it was a business choice. I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to trash them because of it. I'm not going to ruin their reputation because they decide not to like me or not to work with me anymore. That's not my place to do. My place is to tell the truth. And the truth is that there's relationships that I've had in this business where I've done some wrong and they've done some wrong and it equals a bad situation. And it's probably good that I left. I'm not going to trash them because they didn't line up with my values. I am not going to just trash a person for the things that I don't know. I won't do it. I hold MTG accountable for the things she did. She took money from Kevin McCarthy. She did not vote against Kevin McCarthy. She did not align with Trump. And I think she takes advantage of Trump's relationship. And I think Lauren Boebert does the same. I think Eli Crane stands his ground and he has done everything he has promised. And no matter what about Eli Crane, I have never seen anything. So I defended him when he used the word, I believe he said colored. I defended him because I have spent 2 hours interviewing with him, 2 hours drinking with him, and another hour or two in between email and then text messages on Instagram. And when he's sitting in his chair, listening to adjudication or Senate oversight committee hearings. And I can tell you, the man's never demonstrated one bit of racism that I've ever seen, and I'll defend him on that. Once again, could have been an opportunity for me to go after him. Dan Crenshaw. I defended Dan Crenshaw until Dan Crenshaw started saying some things that lined up and maligned him with being fairly neoconservative and almost a rhino in a lot of cases. But I defended him until there was a reason not to. And that was based and predicated upon his actions, not my personal opinion that he has an eye patch. We have a responsibility on this show to tell the truth. And we don't make it up until we don't fake it until we make it. We base it on the truth. 99% of what you're hearing about Tim Walz is accurate and true. 99% of what you're hearing about Kamala Harris is accurate and true. We can leave out the things that we don't know that are easy, that are juicy, that are going to get people to jump ship. And if you think that makes me disloyal to America or disloyal to the Republican Party, I don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. Good. Because anyone who agrees with a political party or a political platform every time is a shill. This is why we have problems today, because it's okay to disagree with your party. I disagree with the way that the Republican Party treats certain groups of people. I completely disagree with the way Democrats do it too. I think the conservatives are anything but conservative. I think they're tax and spend Democrats. I believe they have spent just as much money as Democrats in the last 25 fucking years. We don't resemble anything. Ronald Reagan was one of the worst fucking violators of breaking the budget and spending money we did not have. Does that make me a disloyal Republican because I love Reagan and I think he was one of the greatest presidents we ever had? Does that make me not a Reagan fan now because I can tell you the truth about what he did wrong? We have a responsibility, folks. We are the citizens of this country. And we should emulate the way we expect to be treated by how we treat others. I will defend J.D. Vance as fervently as I'm defending Tim Walz when it comes to his military service until there's something to question. That's it. That's my opinion. You can love me, hate me. Agree, disagree, just don't unfriend me. That's it, folks. Love you, appreciate you. Thanks for watching. If you disagree with what I said, that's fine. Tell me. If you think I'm crazy, let me know. Ronnie Respect you. CP Williams says, that's what attracted me to your show. You jumped my shit for calling someone a Nazi first time on. Yeah, because I think that should be reserved for Nazis. You know, people who want the eradication of a certain group of people based upon their ideology and their ethnic origin. Yeah, you should be a Nazi. Oh, well, you're just, you're mean. Oh, well, then you're not a Nazi. You're just a dick, right? I don't know, man. I have a different mentality than most people. I don't get caught up in the bullshit. I don't get caught up in I've got to hate this person because somebody tells me. I'm going to make that judgment on my own. This is why I don't hate Bill Maher, and I never will. He said some shit about the military I don't like. He said some shit about women I don't like. He said some shit about abortion I don't like. But there's also things he says that I do like, but I'm not going to judge him based on one opinion. I'm not going to judge him based on saying something stupid about our troops. You owe people respect until they lose it. I believe that. Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing here? If we can't at least extend positive intent to people we interact with or people we admire or people that we talk about, then who are we? If it's always going to be negative, if you're a part of a party, you're a liar. Everything you say is a liar. That's not true. Josh Shapiro is not a horrible piece of shit. He's a moderate. I don't like a lot of what he says, but damn it, if you didn't listen to his rallies, fuck, man, he would make a hell of a vice president. Kamala fucked up, and she didn't put him on because he was a Jew. Does that mean that he's my enemy? No. Does it mean I love his policies? No, but everything I've seen, he's a fairly decent guy. We've got to do better. Just because they have a D in their front of their name, we don't get to hate them automatically. Just the same reason why we don't understand why they hate us because we have an R or we have a MAGA hat. It's the same thing. Don't you see? Take away the nuance, take away the window dressing, take away the muck and the shit and the grime. And in the end, we want people to treat us like we treat them. But if we treat them exactly like they treat us just because they're in a party or because they don't agree with us, are we any better? Why should we have the fucking monocles and the shackles of leadership? Why should we be free from the chains of society when we emulate the same things they do to us? If our news media stations say the same shit, but just with a different fucking drapes and curtains and color, are we any better? I don't know, man. I think that makes us just like them sometimes. And that's the crux. That's the crux, man, is that we do a lot of the shit that the left does. And man, it makes me sick because we're so much better than them. We really are. We prove it every day. But not if we do this mundane bullshit. I think JD Vance is fucking doing something stupid. I think Trump's doing something stupid. I think Kamala's doing something stupid. And I think Walz is doing something stupid. And God forbid, can we just have a fucking election on the issues? Because I don't want a leader. I don't want someone to emulate. I don't want a hero. I got enough of those. Most of them are dead. I want you to do your fucking job and stop lying to the American people. I want you to fulfill your promises to us and not the fucking political action committees and the almighty dollar. I want you to have some fucking scruples and integrity. And I want you to stand firm when I can't because I can't be there. And 332 million other people can't be there. I need you to do your fucking job. I don't care if you're popular. I already went to high school. I already voted for the homecoming queen and king. I don't need you to do that. I need you to do your fucking job. That's what I need. Now I got to go. Good night, everybody. Listen, I really appreciate you. Hey, if you like the Don't Unfriend Me show, we would love for you to help out. We are 100% funded by you, and we stay on even when we are supposed to go. We're an hour over tonight because, damn it, I was feeling the vibe. 2 hours and 57 minutes. I think it deserves a little something, something. If you're willing, tip your bartender. If you like the veal, tip your bartender. And we'll be here all week. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Liv won't be here. It's night off for her. She needs it after tonight. She gave me a look like, I can't believe you're still on. take care of you. Also, go over to Wimkin. It's been on the lower corner, wimkin.com. We are shareholders in Wimkin. We love Wimkin. They're amazing. Jason and team do a wonderful job working on an amazing platform that doesn't censor your show, that doesn't change the way your show looks in the middle of it, like Facebook, or throttle you. They are all about free speech. Wimkin.com. Sign up. Go over there and watch our show. Follow us. It's at The Dumb Show. We would appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Hopefully nobody took offense tonight. Ronnie, I'm not mad at you. I think I know what you were trying to say. God bless you. And everybody else. And Connie, the one who quit, go fuck yourself. What a quitter. I can't stand quitters. Seriously, I can't stand quitters. You're not going to get a show like this anywhere else. Are you kidding me? You're missing out. We're going out on the Wimkin commercial. We do every single night. It's funny. Damn it. Funny. Ha ha. Laugh. Here it is. See you tomorrow at 7.
Are you tired of being constantly banned off of every social media platform for saying facts only to be proven right 6 months later after you already had to create a new account? Tired of Fuckerberg robot AI-looking bitch constantly putting you in Facebook jail? Or maybe a geriatric old bastard who shits his pants in front of the Pope became the resident-in-chief because his crack addict, traitorous son had complete media silence about traitorous actions and backdoor deals with the big guy. And those bastards ban you for sharing the story. If you said...
Before you leave, like the show, folks. If you've already liked it, you can't do it again. But right when you leave, just hit that like button. It gets it shared out. People will watch it. We're probably going to have over 4,000, 5,000 views on this. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps. And if you could, go over to linktapgo.com/thedumbshow. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's 50 cents. I don't even care if it's just you saying thanks. Whatever it is, help us out. Keep the show going. Keep it free. It is free. We're the only free network on. Everyone charges you something. We bring it to you for free every night. Thanks.
Yes to 2 of the 3 above. You don't need to circle back like a failed White House spokesperson who has 2 alcoholic drinks for a name. Up in Wimkin, we think it's fair not to sell your data to China, even though their president is super inclusive and named Xi. We kind of have a problem with the whole harvesting organs, slave labor, and communism. We also don't compromise you or get your kids to do stupid and dangerous trends. So you don't have to find out secondhand your kid Johnny is an idiot. Look no further than Wimkin. Made and housed in the USA, Wimkin offers all the features of Facebook and more, with complete data privacy and safe for your whole family. Download us on your app store today and join the community of users who value privacy and safety. Wimkin.
Appreciate all of you. Thanks so much, and see you mañana.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.